I want to talk about doubt. Not the doubt that weakens you. The other kind. The kind that follows a football club like a shadow, and Canterbury has carried it for years. I doubted them in the 80s.
And Canterbury Bankstown have won the Winfield Cup and the JJ Gilderman Shield.
I doubted them in the 2000s. And right now, there are people in this game who still don't believe in Cameron Ciraldo and his men. Still calling the Bulldogs pretenders. Still saying this group doesn't have what it takes.
Dogs of ball. What's going on with their attack?
I've been around this game long enough to know what doubt does to a club like this. It quietly, slowly builds something inside that cannot be coached, cannot be bought. It can only be earned. Through the hard days, through the noise, through every person that ever said they weren't good enough. Crichton, Burton, Kikau, Preston, Galvin. Every soldier that wears the storied Bulldogs badge carries Belmore on their back. Good Friday, Acor Stadium, packed house. Now, go show 'em who you are. Enjoy your Good Friday football.
Pardon me.
Welcome, Doggies fans.
G'day, Doggies fans. All things Bulldogs. Sorry, we'll start that again. G'day, Doggies fans. All things Bulldogs. Big shout out to Bulldogs Kennel on Instagram. Does some wonderful clips. Should be working for the club, I believe. That was crazy. I enjoyed that. And Gas said, you've got to make that your intro today. And great minds were thinking alike. And yes, how good. Hopefully we don't get a copyright strike, but we'll put it on here for you guys for the live. And there's a lot of comments already. A few people already on, Gas. How's things going, matey?
Yeah, all going good, guys. Just quietly working through the week, getting ourselves ready for game day, Friday. So, polished the banner. It's got it all ready. Everything's all set and ready to go. The Rabbitohs are next on the menu. So, rabbit stew is going to taste good this week, guys.
Scary. I'll put this up for a second. Screen is very small on the screen to my TV. Go to YouTube and there'll be two of them up there. One of them is like a mobile version. The other one will be like a widescreen version. So go click on the widescreen one. There'll be two up there if you just go to the YouTube channel. Yeah, sorry about that, mate. But yeah, we have both because some people prefer to watch it on their phone, and other people like to watch it on the TV. So. Who's on here at the moment? We've got Sean. We've got Abs. Hope the Doggies win Black Friday. Mondowan's back. He was upset the other day. He was angry at the team and everything. Welcome, Brian. And g'day to you, Shoey. Yeah, good to see you, mate. And Knox Corvus, who's been a real great supporter as well. Thank you so much, mate. And welcome to you, Aki. So wait for a few more people to jump on. So we've got a fair bit on tonight, guys. So we'll just give you a quick rundown about what we're going to talk about. Obviously, that little video is called The Doubters. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the doubters that have been out there basically screaming like banshees to the wind, angry at Cameron Serrato and, you know, the typical people that just come out when after every loss, just ridiculous. And that's why the media do what they do and try and upset the fans that are just want to get in there and let the experts do their job, support the team. You know, look, Willie Mason the other day, I was happy with what Willie said. He was pissed off that his team got out-muscled, out-fitnessed, outworked over 80 minutes. We had some good moments, but over 80 minutes we lost the battle, and he was pissed off about it. He wasn't happy about it, but he didn't target anyone. He didn't target the coach. He didn't target individuals. You win as a team, you lose as a team. You can be angry at the team for losing. You go to next week and hopefully get to cheer them on. That's how it works. That's how you support, not like this. Cameron Serrato, can you please listen to us? If you don't change something right now, we won't get to cheer for the team the way you helped us cheer for the team for the last 2 years until we lost the game and then we had to boo. Like, honestly, the guys who interviewed Phil Gould then are going out there and just hacking Cameron Serrato. Like, Cameron, you're too proud. You've got too much pride, Cameron. Like, have you ever heard so much rubbish in your life, Gas? Seriously.
Look, for me, there was 2 words to sum up everything that I've been reading for the last few days. Absolutely disgraceful. That's sums up exactly how I've been feeling. It just made it very hard to be a supporter at this moment when you're seeing people just having short-sightedness on you know, very, very quickly. You know, there's a lot of reasons why that performance was flat, to say the least. You know, Michael even spoke about it, said it was a potential, it was there, it could happen, and it did happen. And if everybody reacted after a loss the way that our team has reacted so far, our supporters, then nobody should be following sport, to be honest, because everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm not saying that, and I'm sure no one is saying that we're not entitled to our opinion, but it's when you're putting people down, players, the team, the coach, and you're starting to call, and you know everyone's got their not just knives out, they've got their machetes out after everyone's a coach all of a sudden. Everyone knows exactly what shouldn't be done. It's just extremely disappointing to see, to be honest. You know, it's been a great start to the year, considering that we're still building into the year, and we managed to get 2 good wins together. That was a very tough game to sort of still come up for, guys, the other day. They came up for Vegas. That was huge. Canberra was a huge build-up, 19 days. They came up for that game, and to be honest with you, both teams that played in that game at Canberra in those heavy, rainy conditions both lost following that game. Canberra back at home on a dry track, lost at home to the Sharks, and we obviously got done on a dry track to the Knights. That was a tough game. You know, we were there at Canberra. It was hard work for them. And we've had to play 90 minutes the first week and 80 full minutes the second week to get that result. A lot of energy was spent just in that month to get that result. You can understand if there's going to be a little bit of drop off, hoping that they could just turn up and play well enough and it would get the job done against the Knights. They almost did. They almost got up a couple of tries early, and the whole game could have shifted from that perspective. They could have been controlling the game and just getting into the grind. But in the end, literally the whole sort of first 33 minutes of the game, we were effectively, once we hit 4-0 down, we're behind. The last 7 minutes, they just conceded those 2 tries, and then it was chasing. They did well in the second half, but guys, you're not always going to get the result. Melbourne was up by a lot, they lost. You know, there's a lot of Warriors were up 10-0, they lost. But everyone out there is susceptible to against any team on their day that plays well. We're no different, guys. We're still building. So for everyone to all of a sudden just assume that everything is death-ridden, please, guys, focus on the statistics, focus on the narratives, focus on everything else, But let's just slow it down now. Let's listen to what Michael's got to say today. Because
All right, let's get stuck into these. Let's get stuck into these dicks on the chat already. G'day, Lionel. G'day. Hats off for being a supporter, but fuck me, stop drinking the Kool-Aid. We aren't anywhere close to success. Be honest with yourself. Well, if you want to go to Dogfather Media and read what's going on in our club and where we actually are, if you don't develop your superstars from within, you don't win comps. So if you want to talk about that, although that's pretty, look, I can handle banter, mate. If you're in front of me, you wouldn't talk to me like that unless you had a smile on your face. But I'll tell you something now, brother. If you're going to, if you think that we should be close to success, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. All right? This club has assembled a team that's got us to the finals in 2 years that no one thought was going to win a game in 2024. Oh, Crichton's not going to help us. Most people were writing the club off in 2024 to start. All the people who are writing it off now were the ones who were saying Serrato's got no idea, blah, 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 blah. And now they're all here like, I told you so. They didn't believe Toby Sexton. Oh, you're bringing Toby Sexton from the Titans, who's in reserve grade. That's going to help us. I was there for it all, guys. I've been here through the rise of this team. And what they've done is been very disciplined with their cap. They've been investing millions and millions and millions of dollars in our juniors. It's been hard on our own juniors because of the ones that they're bringing in. Our own juniors used to just get a ticket into the NRL team. I can tell you now, Khaled Rajab would never get close to our team in NRL right now. Do you understand? We have built this. We've built our development. But we are a club that is gritty enough and tough enough and has proven over history that if we can get close to a final series and have the right people in the right places at the right time, we can get success. So I'm not saying we can't do it, but history shows. So history shows that you have to develop Payne Husk, Patrick Carrigan, Nathan Cleary, Moses Leota, Dylan Edwards, Brian To'o, fucking Mitch Kenny, Ezra Mam, Reece Walsh. Okay? All these players have to be developed from within. Roosters are a bit different. They develop a core now. They bring him in at about 15, 16 years old, sometimes 18, 19, 20. Bulldogs are a bit similar. We've only got 13 clubs. We have to rely on bringing outsiders in. But we had a cap problem that was massive. The shit we needed to do was needed to be have done in 2004, guys. That's when it needed to start. And instead of everyone chasing success and fans saying, no, you got to pay this player, you got to keep this player, and everyone trying to keep their jobs and all this sort of stuff. That's when it all fell apart. We then started to build again. We got some juniors going again through that Toyota Cup. The Benny Barbers, Jim Dimmick was around the club. You know, they brought people back around it, right? But back then, we could go and buy 5 class players after we had the wooden spoon. We could just go and buy 5 class players. You can't do that in today's game with the way the cap is, and it's so much closer. So we're not in round 4. Of course, we're not close to success. We're 10 years behind the Panthers, whether we like it or not. That's just the reality. And I'm not saying this build will continue. There will be people who are half the team that's there now won't be there in 2 years. Okay? That's just the reality of it. Most of those, they will go on to better things, which is what's been happening under Serrato. If you haven't noticed, players like King, Man, no one ever considered them in any possibility that players like that would play Origin. Under Cameron Serrato, those players played all games last year in Origin. That's huge. Okay? But no one said that Max King was a good signing when he came to the club. No one cared about Kurt Mann. No one said it. People were criticising Sean O'Sullivan coming to this club. He plays one trial, and all of a sudden he's the answer. He's the Messiah. And we just throw away everything they've been working on in preseason. You also have to look at the fact that they've gone from having their buys every 6 to 7 games throughout the last couple of years to having it round 2 after a Vegas trip, and really getting themselves up for those games, knowing that our attack has never been strong to start a season. It hasn't been. Yeah, we beat the Dragons by 28-20 in round 1 last year. The year before, we lost the first 2 games. I think we scored 14 points in the first 2 games last year in 2024. Yous are all acting like we've gone backwards. Sometimes on the path to success, you have to go through dips. And I'm telling you, what Bailey Haywood and Galvin getting absolutely flogged on the weekend, right? And he just gets up. Instead of passing the ball when the whole Newcastle Knights team were literally in the face of our back line, he took the run. So many times, as Gas was saying, he took the run. No one supported him. That's where we're strong. As a team, we didn't do what we needed to do on the weekend. And these things happen. It's early in the season. And yes, be pissed off at them for not doing it. Fucking oath. I was 100% pissed off, as I said on the weekend in the review, that no forward went and took the head off their halfback. Like, what's his name? Sandon Smith should have been taken off on a stretcher after what happened to Galvin. That's what Bulldogs fans are into. But they're a disciplined team. Right? We want to see aggression. And the article we just did, that I've just done, and Gas has gone over it, and he's happy with all that. He agrees with all the parts in it. And it's been helped written by other people with what they've sent me and all these things to consider, is that we've got all these young guns coming through, but they have had interrupted sort of progression. Mitch Woods is the real deal, but we haven't given him time. He hasn't been able to get into a position where we can actually play him. And I'm telling you, at the start of a season, even if he was fit, after 4 or 5 rounds is not the time. Sauce is there if we have an injury, guys. And I'm going to talk about the rotations and how they work later, because there is a clear pattern and it's easy to see how they're going to work it. Okay. Some exciting stuff when we look at the New South Wales Cup team. And what we're going to show you is that gradually they're going to bring in these aggressive players like Finau Latu. Shout out to Harry, who cut up the highlights of Finau the other day. I watched the game 3 times. And under fatigue, that guy says, fuck it, I'm going to run again. I'm buggered, give me another run. I want to change the game. And he did change momentum. And without him, we wouldn't have won that game, because he actually did change momentum in a game which was really bad wind at Belmore that day. Like, it was all going one way. So we had it up against us, although we led at half time. They were coming back. Then it was back and forward. And he did very well. But we've got to give him a few weeks to get into that side. And for me, he comes in ahead of an experienced player like Curran, because of what we need from him. We need that aggression. We don't need size. We need aggression. There's a big difference. Thompson's not that big, guys. He's just aggressive. James Fisher-Harris is as big as Harry Hayes in weight and in height, but he's a monster compared to Harry Hayes, if that makes sense. So if you want to sit there and just sit there and say it's all Galvin or it's all Bailey Haywood. Now, somebody's asked us about Haywood. I think that was one of the guys here. Heinze. Bailey Haywood had some great moments on the weekend. He was also see, when our hooker and our halfback and our spine players that are playing close to the middle and whatever start getting singled out, that's a fatigue thing in the other players. And as I said, that started really happening badly when Curran got injured and Salmon was then forced to play extra minutes when he was supposed to be replaced by Mann. It stuffed us up completely. Obviously get the halftime break, come out firing, and then through fatigue, just run out of options. And look, I wasn't happy with the swapping of Crichton and that, but just like Tommy Turbo and these players, if they're going to be that good, you're paying them the big dollars. Okay, he can float around and do what he's got to do and help. No one had a problem with him floating around to the right edge last week when he put Tracy through a gap, right? Look, Blake Austin lost his mind, obviously, as a former 5'8", and who's in that mindset, and talking about you've just, like the coach has messed with Burton's mind by making that change. I think the fact that they went in and out, like Burton wasn't always centre for the second half. It actually, they swapped positions a few different times, Crichton, and I think we might see that a little bit. But Viliami, Kikau and Burton swap positions sometimes. Like, it's not like it hasn't happened that way for ages. You know, I've said this for years, people mocking me for the last, since 2024, that they've been, everyone, like people used to go off at Reid Marnie for getting in there and sort of playing like a halfback or playing like the 13. I'm like, they're all being taught to be able to interchange and play either side of the field and do what they've got to do to get the structures going. I just feel the passing's been shocking, and I'm angry about that. I wish it was better than it has been. It hasn't. They haven't executed their passing, but it's not bad attack if you create opportunities. All right, it's not bad attack. It just means you haven't executed. The process remains the same. We create the opportunity. There's a gap there. Did we finalize it? Did we finish it off properly? Did the winger pin his head down? Did he get the ball in the right arm? Did the pass go where it's been going all week in training? Or did it go slightly high or slightly low or slightly behind? At this stage of the year, that's how close it is. I don't care. Outcomes are outcomes. As far as development goes, you have to, if anyone is stupid enough to believe that any coach after 3 games is going to go out there, all the people today going, oh, there was no changes in the team. I was hoping for change. Like, why would you get changes from your plan that everyone believes in and believes is going to win them a premiership this year? Why would you change that? You just keep working harder at it until you nail it. And when you get a new attacking coach in, of course it's going to take a while. I don't care what other teams do. Other teams might be scoring tries and they might have worked really hard on it, especially all those bottom teams that haven't played since, September? Okay, so they've had extra time to work on all their shit. But they're still not stopping tries, are they? Really? How many teams from the bottom? I know Newcastle started well, but they've been a good side with seasoned middles and experienced players for years. And I know they were missing their spine, but I reckon actually would play to their advantage. And I think if Ponga and Brown were there, you would have seen probably a little bit better attitude from some of the Bulldogs players. And not that that's an excuse, but these things happen. They've always happened, and they will happen forever. Any thoughts, Gas?
Have a think about the players, guys. For me, it's all about the players. Like, have a think about how they're feeling now if they're reading and looking at some of these comments. I mean, obviously, a lot of that stuff would be fueling them up, just like that intro said. A lot of them would be fueling up, going, okay, you writing us off, you're thinking we're shit and all this stuff. They're absolutely pissed themselves. But it still hurts, guys. It's still they're still human beings like everyone else. You know, they had a game that didn't go their way, and that happens. Every game there's going to be a winner and a loser. We could have easily lost both of those first 2 games, and we could have really lost that second game, like I said on Sunday, and everyone would have been, oh yeah, you know what, that's Canberra and Canberra. We nobody expected us to win that game or whatever it was, but we won that game. Doesn't matter how tight it is, guys. We are one of the best. We were the best defensive team last year. But think about the players, how everyone's talking, their reactions, the way they are. That's what we need to support, guys. The whole club is doing an amazing job to get us to where they are. We need to support them. Everyone's, except one team out of 17 in 4 weeks, has had a loss. Every one of them has had a loss. Does that mean it's end of the world? And that one team is a special team. We all know it. And we're going to play them in 2 weeks. And I'm absolutely looking forward to that because they're due for a bad game. So, yeah, everyone just needs to calm down and have some respect for what they're looking at. Today's a good opportunity for everyone to, give us your opinions and your comments, etc. And we'll discuss those like we do every time, and add some source to them as well, and give you some information to take away with that as well. But yeah, just have a think about that, guys. It's very important.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff, brother. So look, Lionel Woods is obviously not having a fucking listen. We've been sold snake oil, apparently. Thank you, Lucas. Wonderful from you, mate. So that's $18, guys. Now, I'm just going to bring this in quickly. Super chats tonight. We already had about $40 there. When we get to 100, the winning prize is actually going to be a $40 team store voucher to spend up to $40. If you're in Sydney, you get the whole 40. If you're somewhere else, it's $10 delivery, so it's up to 30. But I might even just do 40 anyway because I'm a good bloke. Yeah, so basically make 10, $15 over the whole lot. So it's about obviously giving back always, which is what our club does as a non-profit, and we try and do the same.
Thank you, Scary.
Yeah, so look, there's a couple of people I want to talk to. Peter Bulldogs, he's a beautiful supporter of the Bulldogs. Follow him on Instagram. He loves the doggies. G'day, Peter, and he's still supporting Bronson Cherry real hard. We got a question about Bronson, so that's actually a really good segue, I think, to get into the team list, which you can see down there. Bronson Cherry's in at number 19. Are you all right for me to go on to this part,
Let's
Gas?
go, mate. Let's go. It's TLT, boys. Team List Tuesday. Let's rock and roll.
Let's get that up there now. So here's the team, people. I'm just going to turn the comments off the screen while we look at it.
Already done.
But obviously, no changes in the 1 to 7. Maxi King, Bailey Hayward. Samuel Hughes returns, as Peter Webber has alluded to here. G'day to you, Pete. Pete hasn't been the best, feeling the best. A few people carrying a few sicknesses. Look at this wanker, Lionel Woods. Lionel, I'm not in a garage, brother. This is my office. You. Mate, Lionel, I think you need a bit of help, bro. So what we're going to do, instead of answering your bullshit, is send you packing, brother. See you later, mate. Have a good night.
No.
We're not here for clicks and views, guys. It's obviously nice, but we don't give it. We're here for the community. I don't care for an echo chamber. I don't care for a dictatorship. We're here to make supporters feel better about the journey and to understand how things work. That's it. And we also learn from you guys in the community every time we do something. So it's all about us all learning. So let's move that off. We will say hello to everyone, people. There's a lot coming through. We usually get a lot more comments after a loss than a win, which is normal. So that's what I want to talk about, is all the players that are back and the players that are coming, and how this rotation works. So Samuel Hughes is back in, obviously. We missed him. Why did we miss him? Because even though Sam is not everyone's cup of tea, his size alone takes energy. It's all about energy, guys. I always talk about energy. If you go listen to Serrato, he talks about energy. Talks about process. He talks about this is what coaches, whatever they're coaching, this is how they talk about things. Where you make your investment, where you lose your energy, how you get it back, what's the quickest pathway to success, all that sort of shit. Right? That's what they do. G'day, Bulldogs, Mike, and thank you to you, brother. Much appreciated. So Sammy Hughes takes energy when people hit him, and they also know he's got an offload in him. If anyone's done their work on Sam, even though he's not been doing that, he can. And one day we'll get the offload from Sam. And we have in a couple of games, and it's been quite pertinent. We're trying to build his minutes the best we can. He's there to fill a role in the team, and he's a fit guy. Takes 4 or 5 hit-ups in that 20 minutes. What happens? Takes energy from their defence, which is good for our replacement. Now, me personally, I always feel a little bit better when DSF's in the side. That's just my personal preview, but I'm not at training, okay? So if you go to training and you understand their GPS and what they're doing and how they interact with everyone and how many tackles they can make back-to-back without, and how quickly they get up when they make a tackle, all this sort of shit counts. No one seems to be focusing on that stuff. They just think they all know because they're, so seduced by media and ex-players and whatever else who have a job to do. But Sam Hughes comes in, big in. Kikau, and who else have we got there? Preston, Salmon. Salmon was going well on the weekend till Curran got hurt and he had to stay on the field. Then he actually struggled big time. Just for that moment, he was up fine after that. Kurt Mann, Satili Tupanua back on the bench. Now, look, me mate Pete and obviously Harry love what and the whole fan base love the effort that Satili put in, and he actually didn't make a mistake, which was brilliant. Under fatigue, he can. He's not big. Satili's not a big boy. Look at him. He's 101 kilos, and he's about 6'1", 186 centimeters. But he plays with aggression, he plays with heart, he plays with passion, and he loves a square up, right? But we saw what happens when he comes up against a good forward pack when he has to start. He's ineffective. He's going to need a few more minutes in his game, few more opportunities of that before he's going to be an effective starter. Very effective off the bench. He can be our Spencer Leniu. Spencer Leniu is not effective to start. Yeah, he gets involved in some early collisions and he knocks some players out and whatever else. But the stats prove he's not that good over when he's starting. He's much better efficiency and return coming off the bench and then playing those minutes through that middle part of the game where the Bulldogs start to ramp things up. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's so good there. But if we have to get him to start, we will, but we don't. Harry Hayes, we missed him last week. Delayed concussion. Harry is just one of these players who's continually lifting his statistics, how many meters he runs. But it's the thing for Harry Hayes is when what was his name? Harrison Graham, who I'd been talking about a long time from the Dolphins, had that really bad knee injury. Really good talent. Knights have got him. He makes a run. No one done their homework. Harry Hayes would have been the bloke there that was chasing that fella, right? He would have been the bloke, okay, if he was there, because I've watched some breaks against us and Harry's always there. He's always the bloke chasing back. And that's why he's in the side. That's why he has pushed ahead of other players in our club. Not because they're leaving. He's actually jumped them through his effort. And we miss players like that. And Harry leads by example. Now, I don't believe Sean O'Sullivan will play unless we have a situation like we did last week where we lose one of those forwards. We're still a chance at the game and we need some creativity late because we're struggling. We're so fatigued trying to get back into the game. Bronson Cherry's there. If there's any, he will be selected, I believe, with the team. He'll be on that 6-man bench. And because Jonathan Sewer was there last week, so Jonathan Sewer needs to get some miles on his legs. So he goes back to Cup. Bronson comes onto the first grade bench in the top 6. That's how it's going to rotate, right? They're going to do that with the forwards as well. So Cherry will be that guy. Now, if we lose one of our outside backs and Ari breaks down, Critter goes down, Burton goes down, they've got a choice to make. Do we put Bronson on and make a shift another way, or do we, move Burton out into the centres and bring Sean O'Sullivan on? Like, they've got options. But Bronson will be what Jonathan Sewer was last week, and Jono will do what Bronson did last week, which is play Cup. Turpin has a week off. He needs to get some miles in Cup. Sauce played 20 minutes last week, so he's had some miles in his legs. He stays in the team. Same with Lipboy Hopboy. Played 20, 22 minutes last week. He doesn't have to go back to Cup. So Turpin and Spinks will play Cup, as will Jonathan Sewer. So those three will definitely play Cup, unless there's an injury and they need to come into the first grade squad. But it will be Hopboy and Cherry that are the 2 extra bench players. And I believe Hopboy is the one they will use if the game's going well and, we're doing what we want to do and we're in front or we're close to being in front. They will use that extra forward, I believe, in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes if required. We get another injury, they then make that decision then. So that's how it works. They can't have these blokes just sitting on the bench, on a 6-man bench every week. They've got to go back to New South Wales Cup. Does that make sense, Gas?
Yeah, every team's still learning how that's going to work for themselves. So it's obviously coming only, agreed upon pretty late in the off season. So everyone's going to balance that out and know who internally has potentially got some type of injury that might be a risk, still good enough to play, but so they might think, okay, if someone's got potentially something they need to cover, or they'll put someone there just in case. So something happens during the week or late or even during the game, they've got that coverage. Serraldo's been doing very well and not sort of showing his hand in his sort of fourth player until usually the last 20 minutes. He's done that so far for the first few weeks, where some other teams have been forced to run with their fourth player early, and then something happens late in the game and they're already stuck. So he's been sort of patient with that. Although he only used 6 the other day, which was a bit surprising considering the players that we had sort of fatigued in that game. And like Michael alluded to, I mean, Jamin Salmon was the big one for me because normally he'll play that first 20, 25 minutes and he knows after that time he's going off. So he goes extra hard, does everything he has to do, and then he knows when he gets off, he's spent. He got to that stage and then all of a sudden they said, mate, you got to stay up there. So that was, if he'd known that from the start, he could have balanced himself out a bit, if you know what I mean. But when you know that you're just going to go hard, give it your all in that first 25 minutes, then go off. And watching him out there, you could see he was absolutely buggered. And he was the last guy to get.
And especially when they were winning the battle.
Yes.
Because they had the scoreboard pressure and that's what I mean. Everyone, Harry's got every right to say get stuck into the team. Right? Yeah, get stuck into the team. They weren't good enough. And I'm not, and we're sitting there focusing on Galvin and Hayward and how we swap these players around. It's like, yeah, pick your teams, guys. That's cool. But put a disclaimer on it. I'm not a coach and I don't know better than the coach. This is what I just think would work based on my limited TV viewing or whatever else you've done in life or rugby league or whatever. But Jamin's, we were losing that battle. And Critter and Carraz and Critter, Carraz, Kikau and Burton, They didn't connect properly defensively early, and it cost us. And then they both got stuck on the ground, and no one adjusted. And that's why bloody Sandon Smith pulled our pants down and sent McEwen on a big run who draws and passes for Dom Young's third try. That just happened from two lazy moments and soft options. Those things can happen under fatigue, but I just think that, we just need to be saying they were all shit in as far as their standards go. They hadn't got there. And while we have talked about, there's definitely good reasons why being at their standard may have been more difficult last week than some other weeks, and they're in a period of getting to where they want to go. We're still okay to be angry about it and expecting more for the fans, and that's why we believe come Friday they're going to represent our team. And if we go through this South side, there's a lot of connection in that side for many years, and a lot of injured players that are suddenly playing all together. So Jai Gray's a Souths junior, I would say. This side's been pretty connected for a while. Jamie came last year. He's just a up and down. Totola's a Souths boy. Bronson from the Dog was at the Dogs.
Junior, but he's gone. Yeah, he's a junior, but yeah.
He came back. Keon's a junior. Fafita's playing well, as we expected. On the Tallis Duncan, a junior. Cameron Murray, a junior. Peter Mamazoulos, a junior. Lockton Hubner from the Dolphins. Sean Kepi from Manly. I think Liam LeBlanc's a junior. Jaden Sullivan, obviously from the Dragons. And Moala Graham Taufa, I'm not too sure where he's from. Probably a junior. So, out of those juniors, how many of them are superstars? Jai Gray might be. Cody was a late starter. Campbell's a very handy player. Latrell's a superstar, obviously from the Roosters, but been there for a long time now. Played grand finals. Alex Johnston, what can you say? Look, they're a side which are just the next rung down from your Penriths and your Broncos, who are full of juniors who are superstars. And they're the teams that win comps, guys. It's just the way it is. You can sit there and debate it with me all you want. If there's teams that can take those great sides far and beat them when they have a bad day, it's teams like South. It's teams like the Bulldogs, right? We're going to be the sides that challenge them. But, as far as you being at your best and them being at their best, we're not there. So the recruits are coming. The AJ Joneses, the Finale Archers, they're all coming.
Leo Thompsons.
The Thompsons, they're coming. So get on board. And this train ride might be a long one, but the destination remains the same. And we can have losses and still get closer to a premiership, because that's what we are. We're getting closer all the time, whether we win or lose. We're getting closer. And all these idiots talking about snake oil and saying, oh, Gould just wants money from the club and all this sort of bullshit. And, don't listen to those people. It's all right to criticise the coach and what you think he did. Gas just give a bit of criticism, but he asked it in a polite, questioning way. He's like, I don't know why I would only have used 6 interchanges. I don't understand that. But Gas also knows that all the coaches in that box would have every idea why that happened. And it could come down to they just fucked up. That could be the reason. So what? Professionals make mistakes every day. And I'm telling you now, if people held themselves to the same account that they hold these football teams, fuck, it'd be a perfect world, wouldn't it? We wouldn't have this petrol crisis, I can tell you that right now. Oh, here we go, Amir. Salmon shit. You can fuck off too. Seriously. See you later, mate. You can go to timeout. Come back when you've cooled off. Amir's been here for over 12 months, guys. I don't care. I don't care if it's me and Gas just talking to the universe with no one. If you're going to come out and hang shit on our players, you're soft. That's it. I've given people their chance to talk about things and debate things and say, you know what, that person didn't play well on the weekend in their opinion. That's fine. To say they're just shit, have that opinion, keep it to yourself. Go to somewhere else and tell it. We don't need to hear it. We have parents of the players watching this podcast, and I criticise their players. I just don't blame them for our loss. You win as a team, you lose as a team. Take me through the chats, Gas. Take me through the chats.
Yeah, let's go, mate. We missed a few at the start, so we'll get through everyone here, guys. So Brian saying they whinge on one hand, Ciro's too stubborn to make changes, then bag him for musical chairs when letting Birdo and Critter change during the game.
Yeah.
So yeah. Has you already mentioned he wants you to rip into the team? That's good, mate. It was one game, guys. It happens to a lot of teams. These armchair critics have no idea. Up the Dogs. Thanks, James. Tony, good evening, lads. In the gym, lifting like madman, motivated by our performance. Let's bounce back. That's it, mate.
That's it, Tony. And sorry we missed your chat the other day, mate, when you said something. I went back through it and I missed it on the review the other day. You've been a great supporter of us, brother.
Yeah. Melbourne also lost to the Cowboys and Townsville was a fast right track. Yes, guys.
That's it.
3 tries in 8 minutes, guys, to pull their pants down as well.
It's hard to win in North Queensland this time of year. It's hot.
Yep. Especially if you're from Melbourne, yes. As only way to find out if it was a one-off. If we beat Souths convincingly, enough is enough. The forwards must aim up. Yeah, mate. Don't worry, mate. They'll be pumped, mate. They'll be pumped this week. Don't worry, guys.
And I'll ask Harry that. You tell me, what did you think about when Lachlan Gowden was getting absolutely pummeled with and without the ball? Nobody. You can say until he stepped up. It was the only ones I saw hitting properly. Kikau had a crack at one bloke. Critter tried to get payback on Fletcher Hunt, who got past him, and Fletcher dropped the ball. And I saw Preston just launching himself ineffectively most of the time. But no one else stood up and comatose their halfback as payback. I don't get that. So I agree. They need to stand up. And if they don't, like Cameron isn't afraid to make changes. If people say he'll go 11 rounds and not change the team, if he's got a better option, trust me, he will.
He's already changed Cherry, guys. He's already stuck to his morals and his laurels. If something he's not happy with, he makes a change. And he's already done that after round 1. So if he believes in something, he'll do it. And he's got his reasons for it, and that's what he'll do. So at the moment, he's got his reasons for this game. So if the guys deliver another performance the same as that, then he will be forced to make changes because he knows who's up for it and who's not up for it. If they bounce back and they play the way they're expected to play, that takes care of it on its own, guys.
That's it.
I'll just keep going through a few more to keep catching up, mate. So Knox Corvus saying it's a tough competition. People seem to forget. 100%, mate. Really good comment here by Peter Bulldogs. Hey, mate, it's sad to see our fans being mean to the club. The boys tried their hardest. I'm so proud. Even though win, lose, or draw, we need to pick up the boys. We can't always win the games. 100%, mate.
Thanks, Petey.
We should be a club always to be proud of the boys, no matter what happens, win or lose. That's why, guys, everyone who's able to and within a reasonable area needs to get out this Friday, guys, and support their team and bring them home. Good mate of mine that I was talking to before, the Loves, told me that the Knights have just signed a new pathway deal for the North Coast.
Yeah, the Dogs are no longer with the North Coast Bulldogs, just so you know, peeps.
Okay.
And we just got a new member. Thank you, Lachlan, for joining the All Things Bulldogs podcast.
Welcome, Lockie.
I think might be number 50,
Whoa.
which is amazing. So,
how was Fino Latu when he first came back? So Michael spoke about that earlier, but the one word that Michael mentioned a few times, he was very aggressive. So played a lot of aggression.
A few of the smaller guys that came in on a 3 and 4 man tackle went flying.
Wow.
Just to give you, so he picks out his person and he sends them flying, and then he keeps that leg drive going, and then when he gets up, he's like, "Get the fuck off me! Why'd you touch me for? I'm going to smash you in the face." You know, looks at him like he wants to kill him, and he's a real. Guess you've met him. He's a nice guy off the field. He's pretty softly spoken, and on the field, he's nuts.
That's
and
what
he's
we want,
determined, and all he wants to do is fucking win.
That's what we want, guys.
With and without the ball.
Tay Cochran comes from Old Bar in the mid-north coast, where I'm from. It's currently a bullock feeder area. Thanks again, Lucas. All need to be patient. Success will come to our great club, up the Bulldogs. Tari, Old Bar, great memories. Yep.
Yeah, Logan Spinks, Jack Todd's from Tamworth. So the Greater Northern Tigers are still with the Bulldogs. They had a tough season. North Coast Bulldogs actually went better this year with probably because we weren't taking all their players. So the Knights might have joined them. I thought the Dolphins were actually taking them over. I know Toby Batten, who played halfback for the Australian Schoolboys from Nambucca Heads, where I'm from. I'm from Wagga and Nambucca. He went. I think he's gone to the Dolphins, so he's a good little 7. And
the boys tried their hardest on every game by game, but we have to stand up and be proud.
That's it, bro.
Heinzie, we need to calm down and have a look at the other teams that took years to win a premiership. It took South 43 years to win a premiership. Parramatta has been waiting 40 years this year, so since 86, guys. So they're not just giving them away at the corner store, unfortunately.
That's it. So you got stability is the best thing you can have.
Just a matter of finding that right position, jiggling stuff around. So sometimes you got to trial a few things. Harry's saying he's a beast. He'll be in first grade 2 to 3. Just needs a few. I'm guessing he's talking about Fino Latu there.
Yeah, I agree, Harry, 100%. I reckon Broncos.
Yeah. That's a good segue for him, mate. That'll be a good way to introduce himself against someone called Big P.H. Haas. Woo!
That's it.
G'day, everyone. Great to see Hughes and Hayes back. We were a bit light on the forwards last week, and they steamrolled us through the middle. Then we had Cohen get smashed. 8-point loss. Big deal. Yeah,
that's it, Petey. And to hear the Kennel podcast, I shouldn't even say their name, but he's calling me obsessed because I'm calling him out for his rubbish. Like, if you're gonna wear all the merch and carry on like you're the world's greatest supporter and you know everything about every game and whatever, like, good on you, and good on everyone who watches it. But to sit there and 28 hours after you've had time to calm down and actually go harder, just to, what do they call it? Rage bait or whatever,
Insight, yeah.
It's like outrage is winning the war at the moment.
Mm.
So yeah, people want to make a living out of doing this. Makes me laugh.
It'll end up being like one thing, Michael, like the boy that cried wolf, unfortunately. You can only get away with it so many times, and then it just becomes noise. You don't even hear it.
Unless you're really entertaining like the St. George dude. Like, he entertains me. He's entertaining. He's got something about him, and I think he's likable, even though he carries on like a fucking pork chop. And Big Fred, like, he actually made some good points in his little bit of a rage, and he was nearly crying when he's talking. It wasn't rehearsed. It didn't come out 28 hours later. It came out straight away. It's a bit different. Big Fred, what is that his name? Hectic Fred. He's a legend. And Harry's Harry. He's gonna just. he just wants to see that Bulldog DNA come through in our forward pack. A lot of us do. Fuck. That'll, can't wait for the night when we see
Harry's
those
saying,
boys in blue and white.
hats off to Satilli last week. He was an absolute beast. Only forward that had a dig. Who's Eshkio is saying
King
that
had a
we
dig,
should.
guys. King had a dig. King will go a lot better. King will go a lot better when Thompson's tag teaming with him. I'll tell you that much.
Even Kikau in that second half really came out and started to fire up as well.
We're going to talk about Kikau. We're going to talk about Kikau, guys, tonight. I've got one of those things where this is just something we can think about. Probably will never happen.
Who knows?
And others have talked about it before, but we'll look at it in depth. Okay.
G'day, fellas. Hope you're doing well. We got a bit of a bath on the weekend, but good wake-up call for the team. 8-point loss, and I still believe the Dogs have the highest ceiling this year.
That's it.
That's it. I expect a big bounce back from the boys this week. Big game for our whole forward pack, for the whole team. Hopefully,
that's right. That's it.
Can you imagine being at training, guys, with Critter and Carraz, knowing how they had their pants pulled down?
Yeah.
Imagine the effort that they would be putting in. I feel sorry for whoever, I feel sorry for the Rabbitohs this week. They're going to be coming out absolutely fired up. And the Rabbitohs are knowing that we're going to be coming off. The worst thing that could have happened for the Rabbitohs is the fact that we lost that game.
Yep.
They're going to be ultra, trying to get ultra prepared for us. It's going to be an absolute cracking game.
I think our only issue is if we overplay and then lose someone to the bin and shit like that. But who's the fucking ref?
Todd Smith.
Oh, Jared Sutton's friend Todd. Is Sutton?
It could have been worse.
Oh, Toddy likes to sim in too, doesn't he?
I know, it could have been worse.
They're all the same now. It's the same bloke just wearing a different outfit every time.
Yeah, they changed their wig as well. I noticed one guy's got
his redhead wig on.
One guy takes his hair off as well, his bald. They all just that's all. Yeah, they blow the whistle the same way. It's always good, but it's still up to us, guys. The ref means nothing if we play our game. How unusual is it for fans to desert the boys once we have a bad game? Who needs enemies when you have fans like that who will turn on their side at the drop of a hat? Look, and I made reference to it as well on Sunday in the podcast we did. Very disappointing on Saturday. As soon as they got that intercept and they went up by 12, I've got the video. I recorded it because I knew, but the amount of people that got up and started streaming out was extremely disappointing, guys. Come on. They missed a kick. We scored straight away. We could have almost gone to golden point if we kicked that goal and scored another try. There was still plenty of time. Where are we going? That's it. That's your limit. That's it. If they score again, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm going to hit the car park and hit the train station first. Come on, guys. That's not how you support your team, guys. It's very disappointing. We're sitting there always, having fun at the teams when we're putting them away. When they start leaving and they start walking to the door, we've even got a song for them that we give when they leave. That was disappointing to see our own fans do that, guys. Come on. I sat through that 66-0 to the final whistle, guys. The worst torture I've ever suffered in my life. So come on. We can all be better, guys. You know why? Because the players see that. They see us leaving. They see all these things. You think they don't notice? They see these things happening. They look up and they see these blue and whites with their backs turned all in one line. How do you think that makes them feel? Come on. We can be better, guys.
That's it.
Showies. Guys, I like us flying under the radar this early in the season. We will click later in the year and we'll be flying home when others have peaked, including Penrith. Mate, we've been saying it now so far and it's been consistent. I don't know where else Penrith can go from here. They've been perfect. They've been amazing. Even their goal kicking was amazing. Like everything they've been doing has been awesome. So I'm hoping that they come back to everyone else and people come up to them and then it starts to be a really good finish to the year, especially for us. Saying lots of decades. We're almost there, Mick. Then you can have a crack. Bulldogs will turn it around. Thank you, mate. Andy, the good man, Andy. It's always good to watch a replay of the game. The second time you'll see things differently. The first time it's usually run on emotion rather than footy clarity. 100%, mate. 100%. That's a excellent comment. Look, it's hard, guys. I know nobody wants to go back and watch a loss, but if you listen to what what we talk about here, and you go back and have a look at some of the context and things, and you go, oh yeah, okay, well, Salmon was supposed to be off by now. He's buggered, and then he's okay. Well, look at Critter. He's missed another tackle, and Lockie ran for 231 meters. Every time he'd run the ball, he looked back inside. There was no one there, so he took it himself. It was all these little things you look at. You start to sort of see a bit more perspective, and you understand. But Penrith, the Newcastle won 3 out of their 4 games, guys. So they're they've only had 1 loss. So it's not like they've been undefeated. It's not like we lost to the Dragons. So that could be worse.
Well, I might cut in from here, brother.
Let's go, mate. Let's go.
I'm going to run through the chats and get through them all really quick. But New South Wales Cup, Tay Cochrane, Cooper Toy, Jed Reardon, Jonathan Sewer, Jethro Renikama back on the wing, Joey Tayalpa, Alex Conti in the halves, Fletcher Baker, Gordon Chan, Kum Tong, and Daniel Saluka for feeder back and starting the game. AJ Jones back onto that edge with Logan Spinks, Jake Turpin as the lock. Interchange, Cade Dykes makes his debut for the Bulldogs. Zion Maeu, who had his best game as a Bulldog last week. Well done, Zion. Finau Latu, Jack Underhill, and Justin Matamua, who is making waves in the background there. So I'll tell you something now. We did have the breeze at our back. Zion enjoyed that, I can tell you that much, as did the whole team. But the troops are coming back, boys. The troops are coming back. The depth's coming back, and they're going to put pressure. They're going to put pressure on this first grade side. And if we get to 2 and if we lose a couple of games, I'm not that concerned, especially to good opposition, because I know our side can compete at the level of a South Sydney right now. I know we can compete at the level of any of these sides in the comp. Penrith have already peaked. So let's go through these, finish these chats. I love the content that you got.
Sorry, mate. We'll go keep them in the order there. Yep.
Oh, we had that up for ages, buddy. I see Jeff Reverend-Karma is named in New South Wales Cup. I love the content that you guys put up, and I love that we get to ask questions about the clubs and the juniors. Andy says hi, and hi to all. Hi to you, brother. Scary just letting Lionel know he's a wanker on his way out. And thank you to Lawrence, who joined us a couple of weeks ago. Bulldogs Mike added to the tally for our $40 Bulldogs team store voucher, essentially. You tell us what you want, and we'll get it for you. If you need help,
a lot of good stuff on there, guys. A lot of good stuff on there that'll make up that $40 as well. There's some awesome Bulldog key rings, mugs, bottles, decal sheets, all sorts of stuff that'll get you merchandised ready with the new logo. Good stuff.
Harry having another Ben Chwalski took energy joke. Good on Benny. 2008, what a great year. Satilli, a great impact player, 100%. Brian, we definitely missed the Hayes on the weekend. We certainly did. He's in the background there. Timmy says, good evening and welcome to you, our brother. Sayed talking about we've got reciprocal rights for the game over Kennel season pass and want to use it. Petey's got Bulldog says, hey, Timmy, Harry, I'm not calling for changes. All I want is more grunt in the forwards, bro. Love. All I want to ever know is why he's moved Critter and Crows on the left when it was working for 2 years on the right. What? Well, look, as we said, Critter is was the best left centre in the game in 2023. Now, good friend of the good mate who's not happy at the moment, Matty Sullivan, was saying that he passes better and stuff on the right. Well, he's as good on both sides, in my opinion. You want to have your best attacking players on the left. You really do. Just the way the game flows and the way most people set their side. So, look, I think it can go back and forth. It's good to. It's just if when you're trying things and you're trying to get better, just because it doesn't work doesn't mean it was a bad idea and they shouldn't have tried it. So this is what they've been working on. So they just got to keep working on it.
What's your thoughts on this week with Latrell and AJ and Dave Fafita on our right side? Do you think there would be any possibility that Critter could be marking Latrell? Just putting it out there. Is that something that they would consider? Or are they comfortable with Inari, or is that why Cherry's on the bench? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm sure people are thinking about it, but
I think there's a lot of danger in changing it, and then there'll be danger in changing it mid-game as well from a fan perspective. But stuff what the fans think. Doesn't matter what we think. Matters what they think. And
2 points.
They want to get 2 points if they believe that those guys, Montoya, they're going to be asked. They're going to be asked questions. It is the best left edge. You can make the case that it's the best left edge, and our left edge is the best left edge on paper, which is why I think fans are really disappointed, and maybe rightfully so in one way, that you look at Burton, Crichton, Kikau, and Carraz on an edge, and you think things are going to happen, but nothing's going to happen on that left edge if they're not running together and they're throwing the ball behind each other and shit like that. So they've got to get their act together. But yeah, it worries me to no end. I'll be worried that Inari's going to have Inari, Galvin, and Preston are going to have Fafita, Latrell, Cody, and AJ. If they get any sort of dominance, or what they'll be looking to do is Cameron Murray getting to his front and shifting it out there as quick as they can, and asking our boys some questions early and trying to play tricks with their mind until they just, get the numbers and go around us or go through us. But there's a bit of grit. As we played at the start, you doubt those fellas. Go on, doubt them. Inari's been going pretty good in defence, and so has bloody Montoya out there.
Yep.
Montoya had a good game.
Yeah,
and as I said, once we get these aggressive forwards and that, then we can probably look to start getting a bit more speed on our edge, You develop a David Bryantton. You've got Connor Tracy. If you sign for another 2 years, you get a Bryantton or a Raymond Peru coming through. Tay Cochran. Cade Dykes, Maybe they do go into fullback because that's where we're going to bring him through. Tracy can go to wing, be the next little Haslam on the wing. Yeah, he might be outmatched a couple of times in some games, but it won't happen often because the middle will make it hard for him to get it out there.
Gavin Lester, mate.
Gavin Lester. Bulldog said, yep, you got reciprocal rights. Check the back of your membership card.
On the back of the card, you're right, mate. Yep, turn it around.
Brian says, g'day to you again. Some fans like we lost 66-0. It's just me as Carraz put on like 8 kilos. He's just had a bit of a shoulder injury, but they said he's had the best preseason. Sometimes when you had the best preseason as well, that means you're going to be really good late on.
Yeah. That's
what when everyone was criticising Madge with spew buckets, I knew it would set that Broncos up for a really good second preseason. And maybe they would start to do well late, but they did much better than even I thought they were going to. And they won the comp. So sometimes you get those tough preseasons in the air and you're right on top of it. From what I've been told, they it can really have a great lasting effect because you're still going when other people are falling apart. That's sort of how it goes, hey, Gas?
Yep, 100%, mate.
Pete's always proud of the boys. Scary says he'll be back with a vengeance. G'day, David. Scary was sticking up for Salmon, as he should. So, and welcome to you, the Duff 95. Salmon is one of the hardest workers on the middle. You can't see that.
Zero ball.
Matty says, smoke the marijuana if you've got it. If it's legal, you can smoke it. Well done, Mick and Gas, for this podcast. You have my support. And we've got your support too. We support you too, brother. And we can't
100%.
wait to see you at
Suncorp.
Magic Round in Suncorp. Not far away, mate. G'day, Ryan. My favourite part of the game was seeing Galvin smiling after getting smashed. Kid loves the contact. Really good comment, mate. Really good comment. And Lachlan Booth has joined you, All Things Bulldogs.
Welcome, Lucky. Lucky sits right beside us in the kennel, mate. He's a absolute true supporter. Travels with us, and he's always there.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He's always there, Lockie. Thanks. Yeah, we're always having a chat during, before, and after the games. He's always there with the boys with the banners. He doesn't have his banner, but he's there with us. Thanks, Lockie.
Controlled aggression is. Oh, you might be able to take your other little banner with you too and hand it on. Controlled aggression is still the key. The referees are starting to penalise big hits this year, so it's a fine line. Yeah, it is. And we have been pretty disciplined, which is
unusual.
Welcome, Lockie. And James Teasdale, member for 4 months. He's actually been a member for longer than that, I'm pretty sure. Sometimes, things, whatever. Pete Webber, correct. Mick, Sewer, Turpin, and Spinks all named will start in the Cup. That's it, brother. And next week, I think we'll see Turpin come in, especially if O'Sullivan doesn't play this week and there's no injuries or whatever, no matter what happens. I think O'Sullivan will go back to Cup next week. Turpin will come into first grade squad. That's what I think will happen, unless there's another injury or whatever else. Spinks will go. Spinks is sort of going to be on the edge, I believe, until they reckon he's ready to be a part of that 19th. Ibrahim Bazi 95. Will the Bulldogs bang spout and get the win on Good Friday? Well, let's hope they do, brother.
That's it.
A lot of people with 95 in their name, obviously. That was a team. If there was social media, we would have been saying change the team, sack the coach, get rid of Chris Anderson. They can't beat anyone in the top 8. They were minor premiers the year before. They've gone backwards. They got runner-up to the Canberra Raiders. They've gone backwards. What are we doing? They're running 7th on the ladder, 8th on. They're outside the 8. Remember, guys. And then what did they do? They beat the best 3 teams of the 90s.
Bang, bang,
and
bang.
The team that had the best season of all time in Manly in a regular season. At odds, I think we were, $3 to win? Something ridiculous. $4 in a grand final.
And don't forget, guys, the last time we lost to Newcastle at Accor Stadium, we beat the Rabbitohs the following week, 2023.
Yeah. They didn't have anyone in their team, though, except Dallas Duncan and Blake Taff.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Matt and Andrew Johns wanted the area of the Mid-North Coast to help out parents of players who are forced to travel to Newcastle for training and so on for nights games, which I can understand. Oh, okay. The Bulldogs ain't struggling. It's about certain fan spectators that struggle with emotional regulation. Loving it. Love our community, eh? Love our community. Kicks fired up in the second half. He did.
Yep.
Heinzie, nice question. How's Louis Grossomy going? He played
Scored a try.
He had an absolute. I thought he played really well. He'll obviously go back to Ron Massey. He's sort of on that next wave, but as far as his line speed, his effort. He's just a real good clubman and a guy trying to keep his dream alive and deserves every opportunity that he gets. But it's just hard when you got to bring back the guys that are sort of ahead of him, that they see as being NRL elite right now. You never know. People thought Ryan Gray would never play NRL. I'm sure his parents and that believed he would. I'm sure his family and his friends and people who watched him and knew him, but there's a lot of people who doubted Ryan Gray, and look at him. He played NRL last year for South Sydney, so well done to him. Always keep fighting for your dreams. I'm happy to see Harry Hayes back in the side. So is everyone, Timmy. Great call. I believe Blue and White any chance about select for fair return top side. Johnny, he's just going to need to get miles in his legs, mate. He had a really good preseason, and then he got those back spasms before in the warm-up, I think, for the first trial or second trial. So he couldn't do anything. So again, that's another player that needs to build his line speed. But he's an enforcer. He gets out there and takes energy from the opposition, and he doesn't take a backward step. When he was a kid, he stood up to Jared Warrior-Hargraves. I think he punched what's that South player who's an Origin representative? He came from the Broncos, Gas.
Jai Arrow.
Jai Arrow. He punched Jai Arrow in the face in one of his first games for the Roosters, then went and joined South and became his teammate.
How's Patrick Young going, mate? Our top 30 hooker.
Yeah. I didn't watch Jersey Flag last week. I'll probably watch that tonight when I go on my walk. I'm going to talk about me walk in a minute because it's the last night, last chance to donate. If I make $24 today, I'll get a chance to win a $500 Rebel Sports voucher.
Go get him, mate. Come on, guys. Let's get him home.
I might do it myself. Mr. C, Canterbury, Bankstown, 35. Love and respect your work, but we have the worst attack in the competence. No coincidence. Can't score with the ball in the red zone. Tough fixtures. Could have us struggling. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle, mate. But we're working on our attack. Our attack was better when Galvin come to the club. Attacking against Souths with everyone injured and attacking against the Titans and the Dragons and the Eels
Knights,
and all these attacking against them is a lot different to attacking against the Storm in Melbourne twice, Penrith, the Broncos and all these sides. It's much harder because they're much better sides and have had built their club over a long time. They've built their clubs. Their star juniors are in their team and are all on big money. Like they've built their clubs. We're still building our club. We're still building our squad.
And it's not always easy to score in the red zone either. It's not
easy to score from further out.
Correct.
It has been for years. It's been a problem for the Dogs for years, to be honest. Just the way we play.
But even for other teams, like teams, we will be happy to give away repeat sets rather than just wait for a mistake.
That's it.
It's hard to sometimes because the fullback gets in the line sometimes, so it's harder to get that advantage where
can't get the roll on.
Correct. Sometimes on fourth or fifth, you've got a better chance when the wingers drop back to help the fullback, and you spread it. You've got the chance sometimes if the winger doesn't come back up again. There's opportunities to make some breaks, and the Tigers did that very well the other day. Dewey went through a few times. They cut through from long distance quite a few times. So against the Warriors. So there's we're still building into that, but we'll get there, guys. We'll get there. And don't forget, just on that as well, Mr. CBB, Dragons were tremendous against us on a smaller field in the first game. And we had the torrential rain in the second game. So I can understand the low scoring there. Obviously, the last game, we had a poor game and scored a couple of tries. So, yes, it's all a matter of perspective at the moment.
We made 7 line breaks.
Yeah,
we made 7 line breaks.
Exactly. And, we could have easily been leading 10 or 12-0 early in the game as well. You know what I mean? So
we only averaged 4 line breaks a game last year for the first half of the season. We have actually made more in the second half.
There you go. And our
best game was against Manly. Our best attack was against Manly. So
yeah. I'm one of the guys that still thinks that King got the ball down because he had it in 2 hands and he still had his left hand on the ball when the right hand came off, pushing the ball down.
That's it.
If he took his hand off, why did the ball still hit the ground? That's what I'm trying to say. Think about it this way, guys. If he took his hand off the ball, why did the ball still find its way to the try line if everyone's trying to push the ball up? So
100%.
Physics.
It was a try.
Physics. So because he still had that ball in the one hand, his right hand came off because he was down and pushed, but his left hand kept pushing the ball down until it touched the. So if that had gone up a try, I can't see it being changed. I would have been very hard. I don't know. He just supported it because it was an easier option, and he saw the hand from that side come off.
Because of Creepy Crawley, who's now going on about Teflon Crichton, and he's been going on about it for weeks, and he just hates the Bulldogs. He hates Gould. He's taken over Buzz's thing. You watch. If there's a break or something and Crichton holds a player down, Todd Smith will be putting him in the bin as a professional foul or something.
He'll be reacting.
I'm telling you that now.
He'll be reacting, yeah.
Like, no one, his ass touches the ground when he hits with the shoulder. He gets that low. Like, no one bends their back more than Critter. If you hit his shoulder, it's because you're falling into the fucking stupid.
Yeah, Brian, we've just had so much bad history with Sutton, mate. That's why. So we can just hope. We can just dream. Yeah, like Aki said, it could be the other one, it could be the bald one. So who knows? It could be a lot of them.
Is that Ashley Klein?
Yeah. Matty Warren got here late. Have I missed anything? Poor game last week. Don't worry, you've got plenty to watch tomorrow, mate. So
you can go watch the start of it tomorrow, matey.
Yeah, a few people made it to the sin bin as well, mate. Some people, one was sent off, one's in the bin, I think.
I sent him here to the bin. Like he's been a loyal joiner. But no, he can go. Well, the Kennel podcast for some reason don't want to do lives anymore. I actually enjoy their lives a lot better than their podcast. Because I support all of them, I always have. Even if I'm criticising what I think, they think sometimes, that helps their algorithm. It helps them, I'm helping them by commenting, and I usually like it, whether I like it or not. I believe in supporting each other, but the egos and just the gall of some of these people to take from our club, from the people that have helped build this massive community and movement almost, and then to call it a cult when they're called out for being little crybabies after one loss by 8 points. Like, who gives a shit? I'm happy. I might try and get them onto the podcast here one day. Me and Gas will do an interview. Why do you think Cameron Serrato should listen to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Timmy was also at the 66-0 game and didn't leave to the end. That's my man, Timmy. Yeah, it was more heartbreaking. Correct. When we lost to Manly, I know. Is
that when Jackson Tapine got the ball off the kickoff was that against Manly?
No, I think he's referring to the game in 2024, mate, against Manly. I'm thinking that one hurt a lot. The Reed Marnie game. Reed Marnie. Yeah, that game. Thanks, Timmy. We love Mick and Gas, the way they help validate how everyone is feeling. I wonder if I wonder if he's retired because he's got some illness or something that is undisclosed. Who knows? Just he looked like he was going to go out forever. He's just stopped all of a sudden. Hopefully he's all right. Sadly, a lot of our fans are fair weather fans. They love us when we win, but they ditch us and bitch about us as soon as we lose. Yes, Maddie. Unfortunately, it's been that kind of week, and anyone else would think that we had an 0-4 start to the year, like the Dragons, the way that our guys are carrying on. Seriously, And as soon as the media says anything, our guys all just jump on it. I'm still defending, why we let go of Sexton and Marnie now, even this week to people. It's like, oh, are you serious? Like, we're back to this again? Anyway.
Just direct them to Dogfather Media articles and tell them to go search for ones to do with Marnie and Sexton. They'll get
when they figure out how to read, mate. We can get them to do that. What role do you think Dykes will play? Look, I'm looking forward to seeing this guy back, man. He's the guy that I really want to see more than anyone else. He's got the potential for me to be something special.
Go watch my videos on him. Go watch my videos on him, Timmy.
That's it. Yeah, Timmy, go and have a look at what he's done.
The Dyke.
This guy to me is another sort of, unlucky guy like Connor Tracy. So if he gets his chance and he stays fit and he's on the field, he's going to be someone to watch, guys.
I think he's got a lot. I think he's got way better potential than.
Oh, luck-wise, I'm talking about luck because he's had the knee injuries. As a player, he's a different type of player altogether. For me, I think he's got more talent. He's got more talent than Tracy. Tracy's a hard worker. He gives it 110. But I think Dykes has got a lot more skill and talent and flair. And he can probably play with the ball a little bit more. But his running game is also something to watch. So if you do get the chance to watch Michael's highlights that he's put of him, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. And it'll actually get you excited, guys. It'll get you really excited. Thanks, Lucas.
Thank you,
Love
buddy.
the passion of everyone that comes on here as well and gives us their thoughts and support. Do you guys think we'll ever see Alex Conti in first grade, either for us or for anyone?
I'm just going to bring something up here, guys.
There we go. He's going to the vault. The vault, guys. He's going to the vault.
So I've just done an article on Dogfather Media. You can see it's got Tay Cochran, Alex Connie, Raymond Peru, Patrick Young, Mitch Woods, Jack Underhill, AJ Jones, and Finau 2 on the front cover. It says you cannot buy a premiership, you have to build it, and the Bulldogs are still building theirs, which we've talked about a lot. So basically, guys, it just starts talking about what happened last week and the reality and blah, 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 blah. And the start of the season, our development, the history under Serraldo, how we've brought in players to do these, to give opportunities to sort of help with this framework we're building of success, without destroying our cap. And we've brought in these players, like a few really good, successful players with great attitudes at obviously a high cost. Kikau, Critter, Burton, Satilli, and now Galvin's probably the fifth one where we've paid. These are the ones that are on between 600 and 850 when we got them. Leo Thompson, the next one. That's over 3 years, though, guys, so that's not too bad. Or 4 years. Or actually, Burton come 5 years ago. You could add the Fox to that on 500. Outside of that, it's just been cheapies that we've had to either upgrade because they've done well to keep their spot, or, we've had a few come in, few come and go. But it basically talks about, we have to develop, like we need a Raymond Peru to turn into a Billy Slater, for example. That's what has to happen. Connor Tracy's not that. Connor Tracy, to me, is someone that gets really close to a Dylan Edwards in a couple more years. But to me, right now, doesn't seem to have that tiny bit of speed while he changes direction. And that's what players like Tedesco and Edwards have. They're sort of really big around the hip area and that. And when they change direction, they don't really lose any speed. And that's why they bust a lot of tackles and stuff like that. Plus, they have all the stuff around them, which helps them have that advantage over their opponents, because their opponents are working harder to deal with the rest of their team. And this is another thing we barely talk about, guys. So, it just talks about the players that have come in and like the Prestons, the Latus, the Sam Hughes, the Zion May, young forwards who hadn't had a game of NRL or maybe played one game. Bronson Cherry was another one that's come along. And just sort of the struggles we've had getting these players we've identified, like people that, on our board and our Pathways recruitment, it started probably just before Gus actually got to the club. They started really putting some money back into these juniors when Des pissed off, because they knew that was the future. So it did start a little bit earlier. And some of these players have just been hampered trying to get them ready. Mitch would have already had his debut. Underhill's had a few setbacks. Jack Todd, all the setbacks he's had. Guys that would have been part of this system. And then we've gone out and we've bought probably 3 of the best fullbacks and been developing Tay Cochran as well for quite a while, to get into our system and get them ready, because they look like they're just the best in their year. It's why we went and got, what was his name from the Broncos? Now, I've already forgotten his bloody name. Olawapu.
Carl Olawatu.
He was the best young kid going around, right? So they're the people we've got to buy, because you can afford them, you can get loyalty out of them, and you can really build them around this handy, tough, robust, hardworking side that's got a lot of loyalty, because we've given them the opportunity to forge a career through the Bulldogs, and that's paid off because they're good humans as well. So this article talks a lot about that stuff, and so give it a read, check it out, and share it around if you want. It might go up on Zero Tackle, not sure. Scotty's not a big fan of the Bulldogs at the moment.
You know what I think is going to be still very important, something that Michael spoke a lot about in the off-season, guys. Obviously, if all the loyal guys, you would have seen us going through the whole off-season. We didn't stop. We spoke about the need for us to potentially try and develop and find that right player that's going to be our version of Isaiah Yeo in the team. That 80-minute lock that can just unlock us and play those bigger minutes, if not 80 minutes. That kind of player for us is huge, because at the moment, between Salmon and Man, we're losing a few interchanges to get one off and one back on, etc. We can really sort of change the way we go by having that player. So Michael spoke about it quite a few times in previous sort of podcasts in the off-season. And developing that kind of player. A lot of people lately have been mentioning Lockie Galvin in that position maybe one day. And who knows? He's got that bigger body. Once he grows into his body, you could see he doesn't mind the contact. We saw it the other day, guys. He's that fit, even though he's a smaller, he's a skinnier guy. He takes a whacking and he still keeps bouncing up, shakes his head, has a smile, and off he goes again. In that game where it was extremely hot, he really came good. So could he be someone like that one day when we've got some of these youngsters that Michael is just going through now coming through into the team? Because, what we see now and what we see in 18, 24 months, like Michael said, it could be anywhere between 6 to 10 players different in our team. And that's why everyone right now is looking at it and expecting quick, results, but we're still building. There's still a lot of pieces to the puzzle that we're still fitting together. And I think the coaching staff has done amazing, because ever since 2023, when Cireldo stuck to his guns and trusted himself in what he was doing, and then completely cleaned out the Bulldogs and got all these, so-called, bench utilities into the team, it was the right play. And now if you notice everyone's bench, everyone's team, even more, in the previous years, even last year compared to this year with the 6-man bench, a lot of teams started following Cireldo's method. So there is something there, guys. He is always someone who's looking at getting us better off. I'll go through a few more chats while you're still getting that organised. Any news on Matt Utai? I haven't heard nothing. The last we heard was that he was recovering well. And I do understand there was a GoFundMe page, guys, for him there as well to help him with his medical bills, etc., and just to get him back on his feet, not working, etc. So if you do go to GoFundMe and type in Matt Utai, I'm sure you'll find something there. And I'm sure even if it's just a little bit from everyone, any support you can give the guy will be very well received. But he's on the mend. He's coming better. So it's good news from there. Did you want to go through that one there, mate, first, or do you want to keep going through a few chats?
Did you want? I won't read out the article. People can just go to the website and have a read of it.
Yeah,
I'll do an audio article of it as well, so you can listen to it if you prefer than reading. Some people struggle with reading big stories and that, so I do try to do both if I can. It's hard. It's hard being a full-time worker and being a full-time Bulldog supporter, I'll tell you that much.
Leonidas makes a good point here. I enjoy the attack and plays when we're behind by 16 to 18 points. I wish we could the team could use this attacking style in all games instead of the games where we're behind. Go the mighty berries. Yes. The only biggest disappointment for me the other day was, and I felt like we had no excuse for this, when Birdo, and I mentioned this on Sunday, when Birdo made that break, a minute into the second half, if you watch the reaction time, nobody reacted fast enough to be the reason that pass ended up going to the opposition, because nobody was there. Critter realised late, started coming, and he made some ground up, but he wasn't in position to take the pass. In actual fact, he may have been better off either kicking it for Critter, who he would have hoped would have got the got to the try line first, or even just dummied taking the tackle. Because there wasn't anyone there. I mean, he ended up throwing the pass because he kind of hoped, and you could see it. He threw it way behind him, trying to get it to him, and it was intercepted. You would say that he's made breaks and stuff like that through training and whatever else, doing their 13 on 13s and that, and Critter. There would have been 2 and 3 people there to take the ball. Yeah.
So
pushing up,
And look, Burton and Critter have never actually played on the same side together either, except for when Burton was playing in the halves potentially, but I don't know that for sure. But yeah, he was on the left and Critter was on the right in 2022. Critter went to the left and replaced Matt Burton at left centre in 2023, and we all saw that try he got against the Broncos late in that year. Let's go. Finau Archer was solid in his first game back. Yep, we talked all about Finau. Amir out of the bin, out of exile. Souths are dangerous in broken play and in our 20-metre zone. We need to get them in that grind. They typically struggle in those type of games. Well, they got better at it, mate. And look, they're getting better at holding teams out for a bit longer. And look, they don't beat the Dolphins in round one if Cody Walker doesn't get that 40-20, the first one of his career, and then they get 5 repeat sets.
Yeah.
So they've learned a lot under Bennett, and Bennett was doing that with the Dolphins as well, about how to get in the grind and play small ball if needed and all this sort of stuff. And South last year stripped it right back through the middle stages, just worked on their defence. When the season was gone, they had a bit of fun and they blew some teams away late in the season and whatever else, had a bit of fun. This year, obviously got all these troops back. Wayne Bennett's still a good coach, and the fact they've got about $5 million worth of players for under 2.5 shows you the master at work. It's not sombrero. It's actually just people. They haven't worked at other clubs and they're going to work at South because they usually do under Bennett.
Yeah, good people manager. Timmy, you're in the draw, mate. Timmy, you're in the draw, mate. You're in the draw.
You're the first one in it, brother. I'll have to do a count later.
Happy birthday, Heinzie. 28 yesterday. Hopefully you Friday the boys give us a victory as a birthday gift. Yes, and if you've got your membership, mate, it's not going to be on our board. It won't be on our board. Actually, they didn't even do that this week at the game. They didn't even put the birthdays names if you were birthday in in March. That was interesting. And also, they didn't have the bloody the kennel sign, guys. What happened to the kennel sign?
Yeah, we need to ask about that. Timmy wishing Bulldog Mike some niceness. Critter's already trainer left this week. No changes or swapping sides. Thank you, brother. Yeah, look, this is what I said. I've done an article on pressure proof with the Bulldogs. I've talked about Serrato, and I forget it's called something football, which I think he's looked at that. And a lot of soccer teams play it where they just have defenders can attack and players are basically can do anything on a field for, whatever the situation, any player on that field from the goalkeeper all the way to the attacker, to the winger, to the defender can do anything else, right? Lots of passing, both sides, holding on to possession, keeping control, wearing teams down with fitness, all this sort of stuff that really translates to what Serrato's sort of building as far as the way we look at skills and the way we can interchange players. And honestly, guys, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have won half the games we've won either. Like people carry on about, tinkering and all this sort of shit. They're just trying to win games of football. That's it. And making best do with what they've got until, as I said, we get our Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, bloody Nathan Cleary type players in our team. That's it. And if you think they're there yet, well, they might be. They just haven't developed into that yet. So, Heinzie, I don't think there will be. I think Cherry's just there as a reward. Although I felt he hardly touched. I think he made 48 metres last week on the left edge. In a game of two halves. I think that was all in the second half as well, by the way. So I doubt it, but I think he will be one that next week he'll play cup, so will come back in, sort of thing. But if we get towed and Anari misses tackles and whatever else, he might say, Cherry, come back. I don't know. We'll have to see. But Anari Chihuahua hasn't done anything to lose his spot, so he's not going to lose his spot.
Very solid, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing no one mentions in their criticism. Jacob Preston hyperextended his knee, was on the ground for a minute or two, could hardly walk, and through his toughness kept going, come out with a thing on a knee brace in the second half. That affected his ability to be an attacking threat for us on that right edge, where we'd obviously practiced a lot of rep work that week. Both teams attacked their right edges. Brad, they're talking about Critter hardly saw the ball. Well, neither did Brad. Bradman Best hardly got it either.
Was he? I didn't even know. Was he out there?
He did a couple of good things. When Blocker's commentating because he decides who the best players are before the game starts.
Correct. Well, the best play he did was when he caught the bomb and then quickly grubbed it into the goal and got a repeat set when they shouldn't have got a repeat set there. I mean, it's just anyway. Everything went their way on that side.
You're not going to win a game when that shit's happening, don't you? You just know it's not your day.
Brian says it worries me, but let's be honest. Defensively, our right edge has been better defensive side this year.
I think it's been a tactic, Brian, where they've gone, Critter's on the left, let's tire him out so he's less effective. Let's tire these guys out. Let's run at them. I think that's been the tactic. People have been loading up on the right edge at our left edge, and I don't think they've been that expecting it as much, because if you're preparing for these games, you're looking a lot of the time, the strengths are on the other side. The best players are on the other side. Interesting. But we have conceded most of our tries on the left. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Good pick up, Brian. Yeah, good shout out, Bopper. Yeah, he was tired pretty early, and he's going to be. So they've got to build get him cranking, and then they'll take their time. They'll give him 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and get him going. And hopefully he'll stay injury-free and be ready to rock and roll when we need him. But wouldn't it be nice just to have someone like a Sonny Bill emerge? First game becomes our focal point of everything.
Yeah.
In a team of players that we're like really happy with. And then he comes off the bench. Yep. That was one of the I actually done I've done a lot of articles on Connor Tracy. And the reason being, and that was last week, guys, on the 22nd of March, why Connor Tracy is the key to the Bulldogs top 4 pushing 2026. And signing him is an important step. Yeah, whether they go and sign another great fullback or someone that they expect to do that, get these youngsters coming through, you need to have that solid, dependable, consistent player who owns their spot. And it's good that they've put that to bed. So well done. So you can go read that one as well if you haven't. Put our beautiful faces back up. Galvin's going to be a better halfback as the season progresses. Remember, guys, he's only young. You don't adjust to a new position straight away. It takes time. And that's right. But look, whether he's the best 6, a better 6 than a 7 is irrelevant. He's our 7 to start the year. He's going to be a better player by playing this position. And he's going to be a better player for us in whatever position he plays. Because this kid they see as being part of a great team that can win premierships within the 3 to 4 years. And I think that's where the more likelihood of where we are a real dead set chance of evolving into a team that at their best can beat or get extremely close to a Penrith Panthers at their best. That's where I'm seeing it. Other people don't want to see it like that. I get it. I'm the same, but that's just my reality, my gut. But we're the Bulldogs, man, and you doubt us. You know what happens? Next minute, we've got the trophy, and you're fucking crying and can't. That's what I mean. You hear these Broncos fans. They're like, how did the Bulldogs win that grand final?
Mate, can we play that intro again now that we've got a few more people on?
All right, let's
guys,
play it again.
If you haven't seen it, have a look at this intro, guys. Have a look at this thing that was done, how that was done today. Just to get you inspired.
I want to
Friday,
talk
guys.
about doubt. Not the doubt that weakens you. The other kind. The kind that follows a football club like a shadow. And Canterbury has carried it for years. I doubted them in the 80s.
And Canterbury Bankstown have won the Winfield Cup and the JJ Gilden Shield.
I doubted them in the 2000s. And right now, there are people in this game who still don't believe in Cameron Ciraldo and his men. Still calling the Bulldogs pretenders. Still saying this group doesn't have what it takes.
Dogs of Ball. What's going on with their attack?
I've been around this game long enough to know what doubt does to a club like this. It quietly, slowly builds something inside that cannot be coached, cannot be bought. It can only be earned. Through the hard days, through the noise, through every person that ever said they weren't good enough. Crichton, Burton, Kikau, Preston, Galvin. Every soldier that wears the storied Bulldogs badge carries Belmore on their back. Good Friday, Accor Stadium, packed house. Now, go show 'em who you are. Enjoy your Good Friday football.
Come
Well, there you go. I enjoyed watching that again.
Fire it up, guys. Fire it up. Let's go.
God, how many? We've got a lot of chats we're behind.
Let's go. Let's go. Logan Spinks is the future star in our opinion. Yes, we already spoke about that.
Where's that?
Here it is there. G'day, Sub Ox. I hate the fact we are now disciplined. Other fans say the refs favour us. There you go. There you go. Maybe we have to spread that message out there that we are a lot more disciplined so the refs can understand why they're not penalising us. Don't forget we held Manly to no tries in that 95 grand final. Yes, it was just 2 goals to Matthew Ridge, correct?
Yep.
Heading to the Easter show, then the game. I'll be there for the game, mate. Yes, I won't be there for the Easter show, though, but I'll be there for the game.
New South Wales Cup.
Yep. Any news on young Jack Todd, the young bloke who keeps breaking? Well, he didn't break his arm this time, but he's got some concussion issues.
Yeah, it could take 3 or 4 weeks. So I think they need to really. It was when you're knocked out for a period of time. There's all these protocols. They've got to make sure he's all good. He still might have headaches and stuff. We don't know. I'm sure they'll keep it pretty quiet and just give an update in good time.
When DCF punched Arrow, I started to love him. Yes. And Arrow is a comedian, mate. He's a larrikin, but he gets on everyone's nerves, even at the Rabbitohs. Galvin's not the problem with our attack. I'm sick of hearing it. 100%. He tries hard every time. People just need to get used to the way he is and just start running off him. If we got more options, I think he'll, people will be thinking he's going to go to Preston. He's probably sucked everyone in now early in the year, thinking Preston, and then soon it'll be bang, bang, bang. Let's see how it goes. With the makeup of our spine, we need credit to play fullback. Contrastively is elite at meter eating. Lots of options. There's a lot of ways that we can play the game. But he's at the bottom in key attack stats. How far away is Jethro? He's back this week.
Jethro's back this week, buddy. New South Wales Cup.
Finally, big body, speed. Let's see how he goes. Happy standing in front of you, big guy. You won't like that. That's your mate. Your mate.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I still think we can get better with Tracy at 1. We'll stick with him. He's been the most consistent player in our team, guys, for the last 2 years. So, we know what you're going to get out of Tracy every game, guys. I appreciate your take, brother. Up the Dogs. Can't wait for Friday's game. We aren't far away. Just need a bit of timing and mongrel, and we can click. Yep. Just a few things go away, guys. We can easily do 30, 40 points, and everyone's quietening down about the problems that they think we have. I wouldn't change anything, but if I was going to make a change, it would be credit to 1.
D's got some stats. Souths has not
There
scored
we go.
a point in Good Friday clash for 2 years. Come Friday, it would have been 740 days.
Thanks, D. Love that stat. That's a good stat. Love that stat.
Will the Bulldogs keep Joey Teaupi beyond this season? Good question. I think they will. He's a guy who's been played upper grade his whole career. Has gone flowing under the radar. Just plays like a pure 6. And he's grown some size about him and has the smarts. Like, I don't know. It's so hard to tell because they've got to make a call. They've got to make a call on players. And if you think your pathway's blocked and you've got a chance to play first grade, you go somewhere else. But we're going to talk about it. Probably one position where it opens up a pathway that I want to talk about soon in relation to Kikau. But we'll keep getting through these chats and catch up.
Brian says he agrees that he was yelling at the TV when the ref missed the other hand on the ball, putting it down.
No, Paulie, Montoya is our extra forward out the back, and that's what we need right now while we're still developing our forward pack. Once we can not every team has forwards who can get behind the ball out of yardage, Paulie. We just haven't got those players at the moment. You have to develop those players, and hopefully the players like Finel Artu or AJ Jones and these sort of guys can have that aggression, and have that motor where they can do that out of yardage and then make their tackles and contribute in attack and offload and do all that sort of shit. Not every team's got these players, and it's hard to buy them as well, really hard to buy them, so you got to develop them. So that's why we need Montoya. And I've seen him offloading. I've seen him doing his absolute best. And as I said, the passing has not been good. He scored plenty of tries last year when we got him on the outside. So because the passing was better, we get that happening. That'll work better for us.
Do you think we would get a better outcome with a deep kick rather than the 10-metre drop kick that they do by contesting the high ball? We have Burton's boot and a defence down there to kick them down the other end. There is a couple of things you can look at. I'll just go into this one before you look at that. First of all, the other day when Berto had one of those kicks that sort of didn't go 10, that was, I think, one of the first ones I've ever seen him not make. He's very, very, very consistent with getting that ball up there. He's got a great style to how he kicks it. And usually we can get a bit of stop the momentum and get it back. The other day, sorry?
He was injured.
Yeah.
I think that the club's hidden that.
Yeah. So usually he can do very well in getting that ball up there. And we've got some good success to diffuse some of those repeat sets. When you do kick the ball long, sometimes it can have a two-way thing. So when they were gassed the way they were, they didn't want to be sprinting that next 30, 40 metres
exactly,
and then have to start backtracking. It actually will take a lot more out of them. They would rather just kick the short one and then stay on their line defending if they don't get the ball back. And they did it for 4 or 5 sets there, guys. They didn't score from it. So I can understand, yes, sometimes that long kick, but if you have a team that can't execute that kick, then yes. And I see a lot of teams struggle with it. They don't get the ball up there. They don't contest it very well. I think the Bulldogs do it well. They're one of the teams that, for me, I'm happy to see them go short. The other day, yeah, you could hear the Bronx cheer when he kicked it long and it went 60 metres and it bounced along. Everybody was happy just to finally get it out of there because we were under so much pressure. But yeah, there's more than one way to look at it. You got to remember, if they had to run that 40, 50 metres, then start backtracking forward, back again, defending on the 10 guy, they only have to come up a little bit, come back a bit. It's not as much effort. They can keep going for a bit longer if they don't get the ball back.
And I think he's also saying a lot of teams, it depends on field possession. If you get that field position, you can have a lot more contested high balls. And I think if they get close to the in goal, you have to, because if you contest it and knock it on, it's only a 6-tackle set. If they catch it in goal, it's a 7-tackle set. So you have to, if you're on top of the energy and stuff as well. So if the game's going your way, you can kick it a bit further. If a team sort of had a good set and got and sort of worked, they've been under pressure, but retained us pretty well through the middle, and then we kick a long ball, it then makes their middles have to run back a hell of a long way. If our line if we're fit enough and got the energy for our line to get there in one and then pin them down, and then usually they'll crack after that. But it all just depends how it's going. If it's just a natural grind, yeah, I think they'll just keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
You're all right. Happy to see DCF named him in the Cup. Just needs time and hard work to get himself a chance in first grade. Yes, yep. Mate. And we know he's Lockie. He's got a very good record playing for the Bulldogs. One of the highest
90%
ever. Yep.
Gas's stat. That's a gas stat.
Yes. Thanks to the countdown. I think Scalman's been impressive, and Burton's clearly our best player with the ball.
100%. And thanks for saying it.
This is the best potty around. Always positive talk about the team I love and not too much about the shit teams I hate. Keep up the good work.
We're so desperate for views. We need other fans to come and watch us talk about their team and pretend we know more about their team than they do.
Yeah, how many people do you know had one of their podcasters write a list of top 5 players that need to improve for every NRL team and have it put out there on Zero Tackle? I don't think many podcasters would have that.
And it's actually it's been 97% accurate too, to be honest.
There you go, guys.
Although there was a few players I wasn't aware of that
That's
come in
all right.
the sides, but yeah.
Next time, quit your job, mate, before you do that, all right? So you can
Yeah,
have more
well
time to focus, all right? Yeah, don't do your job and do that as well. Come on.
That's it.
Timmy's saying, sorry, he meant the New South Wales Cup with Dykes playing his first game back. He can cover the halves and outside backs. It's good to see the flying Fiji and back from injury as well. Yes. What have you got there? Peru, dead set with the next Reece Walsh. Mark my words, he is special. Thank you, sir.
I think David Bryant's better. That's just my opinion.
Ooh, there you go.
That's what
competition.
I mean.
Competition.
Well,
that's it.
They can both come in. They can both play.
I'm a little bit concerned about Wood's durability. If he can't make it, is Conti the next cab off the rank?
Conti's a good footballer, and the club has a huge opinion of him. Braithen Astor doesn't pick duds.
There you go. 99% of armchair critics haven't got a clue. All teams play shit games. We will play poorly several more times over the course of the season. 2 from 3 equals a good start. And you know what? We even beat the Buyer this time around as well. So we've got a few points under our belt. I think Galvin can be that 80-minute lock eventually. Well, let's see how that goes. But yeah, we do. Hopefully, that's I think a missing link in our team one day.
That first offload to King, that's his game, and that's what we want to see.
Yes. You know, they didn't even show the replay of that.
Double on the weekend.
They didn't show the replay of that in the game. They just showed the try, and that's it.
Yeah.
People don't even. If people don't go back and watch that game, I don't know if you've got that clip, but people didn't have a look at exactly what Lockie did just to put King in that position to score that try, which like we said, I thought he scored. That was a great play, great move to put him in there with that offload and everything. But people don't even remember that because all they remember was King. They didn't even show the replay. Like, you think these commentators, that was a perfect opportunity for them to say, have a look at this play. You know what I mean? But
if he fills out, he can play lock, he could play left, he could play edge. If he fills it, if he goes from a waif into a normal size,
there's a few other options.
He could do anything. He's a footballer.
Timmy's asking if Dykes is too small to play lock, and also Amir is saying Fino Latu can be our 80-minute lock in future. He's got a big motor, so it all depends, obviously, on their passing game as well. They have to have a good ability to keep control.
I think he'll be a prop. Just quietly.
Could be a Spencer Lenu.
That's it. Or he could be a paying us. He's not quite as big though, but
or Jared.
Look, I think there was something there that I wanted to see. I saw is Dykes too. Look, Timmy, Dykes can play fullback. He could play wing. He can play center. He can play 6. He can play 7. He's got all the ball skills. He's a great runner of the ball. He can pass both ways. Better than a lot of youngsters I've seen. And he dominated that competition. He was one of the best players in that comp. And this is what I'm talking about. We talk about a lot of bring this player through because they've heard of him. They don't watch him every week. Until they're dominating these lower grade comps, don't expect they're going to dominate first grade. Just because you want to see something change because you don't like losing. Keep going, brother.
Yep. Subs also saying maybe Latu as well. That's what we want there.
Good question.
Do we want that 5th spine player or more mongrel and power?
I think you can have both.
There you go. That's what we're looking for, guys. We're looking for the guy that can bat and bowl and field and do the whole lot, the all-rounder.
Sorry, mate. AJ's a bit. Yep. He's a bit behind the. Sorry, mate. He's a bit behind the 8 ball. Obviously, had to go to Vegas. We had a bye. He gets suspended for 2 weeks because they fought the charge because they didn't want him to have to pay a fine, being on minimum wage or whatever. If you're getting 70, 80 grand and you got to pay $1,000, $1,800 fine, It's a lot of money. So that's decisions the clubs have got to make. And unfortunately, it cost him 2 weeks and cost us a bit of early season depth. So, but they've put the player first there.
Amir's asking,
Good
how
question.
do we beat Souths and any weaknesses you've noticed from them?
Their weaknesses is that they still struggle to go back to back with defence. They're getting better at it. I think David Fafita has started pretty well defensively. I thought he'd be pretty poor. He's actually going better than I thought, or at a quicker rate. But look, it comes down to the same things. If we do what we do well and hold up that middle, and get them into the grind, their weakness is their resilience over the last few years. And players like Cody have struggled to keep their heads together under fatigue. And that's another area, their discipline under fatigue. But Cameron Murray, I think, helps with that. I think when Cameron Murray got injured, he had done so much, busted his ass for Australia, for New South Wales, for that club, for so many seasons. He's one of my favourite players outside of it, out of the Bulldogs, and I usually don't have too many. I'll talk glowingly of people, but I actually really like him. And I think he is a wonderful player, and if we can control his speed to play the ball, that will help us handle their edge a lot better. But the Dogs have got to come there, ripping and tearing, keep that control, get some controlled aggression. And I want to see the Sam Hugheses and all that sit there and say, I want a fucking contract. I want a contract next year. And this is where I fucking draw the line in the sand. And where I say, you're sitting there talking about AJ Jones and Finau Latu and all that. Well, what about me? That's what I want to hear, right? I want to hear Sam fucking Hughes screaming like bloody what's his face out there, kicking ass, ripping and tearing, getting angry, but not giving away penalties unless the team needs him to, and putting those fuckers in their place, those rabbits. But that's their weaknesses, guys. They got players that under fatigue and when they chase games and shit who lose their minds and do some stupid things. But I'll tell you one thing about this Rabbits team that's their biggest strength is that when they have all those players on the field, they know that they can beat anyone and that they can score points. And that's a very good confidence to have. And that's one of our weaknesses is that we're still developing that. And I feel that the belief in our attack is always something you've got to overcome when you get a new attacking coach in and you're obviously doing some new things. It can set you back a little bit until you get it perfect. And I think that's maybe our weakness is not our attack in general, in the belief in what they're doing at this point has shown some frailties from the outside looking in. Okay. But outside of that, I think we've got the game plan to help South defeat themselves.
And just on that attack too, Michael, a lot of people I can see the comments. Sorry, Aki, I didn't see the birthdays, mate. Just on that attack that people talk about, people say, oh, they had the whole off-season. How come they can't get it right yet? No matter what you do in the off-season, guys, and train and trial and put it to practice, game day simulation is another thing altogether. No matter what you do, different players will react differently the way you thought they were going to react and plays that you did. For me, if anybody's asking about Adam O'Brien, we would not have the 2 points against Canberra if it wasn't for Adam O'Brien. That's my take on Adam O'Brien. Those two tries we played and we set up when Critter came around the outside, when Hayward turned it back to Tracy, those 2 tries that we scored off those set plays would not have come from what we currently had running last year.
Yeah.
So before anyone says our attacking coach, the guys have to work their season into it and start doing those. The other day, we didn't even do any set plays. They were too smashed, too gassed to do any of that stuff. We were hammered. So the thought process was gone. They couldn't get themselves set, couldn't do it. It was tough. So I think, guys, and I got to say as well on that comment there, that was probably one of the earliest Birdo bombs I've ever seen in a game, and it paid off as well. So just a shame. I mean, there could have been a penalty as well there. Could have been a penalty because he touched it coming from offside. The ref left it to play on advantage. Left it play on advantage, and then we didn't score. You know what I mean? But he basically made a direct, deliberate play at that ball. It could have almost been binned as well, technically, trying to stop the ball coming through. But yeah, that was a very early Birdo bomb. But he's got the precision going with it now as well, guys. I think he's a bit more confident putting them up.
All right, I'm going to run through these quickly. Brian, thank you so much, mate, for another donation, and I'll get a tally up in a moment. Agree about aggression with Finau Latu, 100%. He initiates the contact. So, yes, that's what I said. He pinpoints someone in that line. And he's like, I'm going to hurt this player while I've got the ball. And that's a very good sign. And he's not afraid about what else is coming. He got as he got fatigued, he got dusted up a couple of times. Like they got in and give him a good crack. But as I said, and Harry actually caught it on his little thing that he did on Finau. Where he sort of has a pretty good run, and it's not too bad. But then the second run actually helped change the tide of that second half a little bit. So lots to look forward for. It's Timmy's birthday Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, and Christian Condemi. Cheers from Italy, old wise line, Forza Azzurri.
Ciao bella.
Yeah. My great grandfather is called Gaetano Giuffre, from Italy, had lots of kids, with a woman born in New Zealand to a Belgian beer maker who moved there, and an Australian woman who moved there, but she was born in New Zealand. So there you go. Paulie says rugby league's a simple game. Run harder that opposition and tackle harder them and hold the footy. You tend to win. That's it. Also, don't try to fool anyone after midnight tomorrow because you'll be the April Fool. Thanks, Timmy. Willie still looks like he could play. Maddie says happy birthday. Tracy's re-signed. UF and beauties. Cam Serrato spoke well, 100% footy last night. He certainly did. I love that. Gus said, so what would you think after 3 games as an assistant if you were given the head coaching role? He sort of said, I don't know, but I'm sure Kieran Foran's if there's going to be someone who could do it, Kieran can, you know.
Actually wants you to play that at the end as well, mate. The same, the build-up.
I'm going to play my Bulldog song.
Take your toys and go in the cop as well, buddy.
I'll get 3 bloody three copy strikes on the one bloody
That's all right.
thing.
They can watch it over at Aki. It's at the start, guys. Go and see it.
It's on Dog. It's actually on Facebook, the Dogfather page.
There you go.
It's there for you. You can play it on repeat. And a big shout out, as I said, to Bulldogs Kennel on Instagram. Not to be confused with the Kennel podcast. Let's effing go. Oh, that must have been when we watched it. All right.
Yep.
Can't wait to see Dykes. Yeah, I think they'll work him into it. Welcome, David. He did. It was like he was chasing the game a bit, I felt, after that. But one thing we saw is that Fletcher Hunt, after he got through that tackle, the next time he had a look at Critter, he dropped the ball. Critter was going to fucking slam him.
He lined him up.
Our bench is superior to the Bunnies. I think they've got a good bench, to be honest. Mamazoulis is having a really good season too.
Yeah.
Liam LeBlanc, heavily underrated. And that other guy, what's his bloody name? From the Hubner. He's tries his hard.
He's a goer, yeah.
And then they got those other options, Sean Kepi, who was a first grader at Manly every week. But look, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that it's not as bad as it may appear. Yes, Michael. Thing. He's very good. And it's like when he actually went back to fullback a couple of weeks ago, Peru had to sit the week out for some reason. He was enormous. He played I think he's played some Ron Massey as well. They got Bryanton playing Ron Massey when he should be in SG ball, but they got him playing against some tough hard nuts over the last few weeks. Round 7, Jesse. Round 7, and welcome to you. No. It's got nothing to do with Galvin and Sexton, James. It's got nothing to do with it. We averaged 25 points a game with Sexton. What's it? The whole team was at a different spot in its development last year. They played teams that were behind the 8 ball. They played teams that weren't good at us.
We played the Dragons. We scored 28. They put 20 on us. We played the Gold Coast. We scored 40. They scored 24.
Yeah.
We played Parramatta 16-8. We beat Cronulla 20-6. We beat the Newcastle 20-0. And then we beat South Sydney 32-0. None of those teams, except the Sharks, made the 8.
That's right.
The first time we played against a team that won the grand final, we had 42 put against us in Brisbane. So it's that wasn't Sexton or Galvin or anyone in that position. So it didn't matter. And look at the games again. Have a look. You're looking at the first 3 games. Shorter field in Vegas, pouring rain in the second game, and we had a shocking game the other day. Too small a sample size to worry about yet. And I'll say the new attacking coach as well.
I'll say to you, people get confused because they're like, what about isms? The Bulldogs finished 15th with the worst defense in 2023. We beat all those teams that were flogging us the year before in 2024. Teams that didn't make the 8 that flogged us. It's got nothing to do with it. What happened last year has got nothing to do with it. All these sides, especially the teams that are trying to get themselves off the bottom of the ladder, that have good rosters and always have, just because they've had a bad season. They've still got a good roster with kids they've been developing, that they've had faith in for years. They come out hunting us because we've embarrassed them the last few. They've been in the Bulldogs bin for 1,000 days. They want to get out of the bin. And we just thought that the bin was locked shut and they couldn't get out. But no, you have to keep it shut. And we didn't. Simple as that. It had nothing to do with Galvin at 7 and Sexton being there the year before. It's just pathetic. It's got no it's like I give people historical stats and stuff like that just to keep in mind, but they have no relevance whatsoever. None. Absolutely none. Bellamy winning every year in round 1 has no relevance to them winning round 1 next year. It doesn't. Other than what people's minds think. Or because the Storm are just really good at preparing a team for round 1 and other clubs haven't. I think they even beat Panthers round 1 year. 8-0 or something. Like that. They literally made them play the premiers to try and knock Bellamy's record off.
We have Leo Thompson. He'll be helped with the aggression. Has a big motor. And how long can he play in the middle? It depends on how he gets his fitness back up. But I think he could be.
Go watch him last year. Go watch him last year against the Bulldogs when we beat them 20-0. It wasn't a very good attacking game at all by the Dogs. It's 2-0 at half time. They lost Saifidi in the first few minutes. Actually, no, he did his leg or something running onto the field. And he couldn't do anything. So they had him out of the game for the whole game. Thompson played 71 minutes in the middle against the Bulldogs last year. So he can play some minutes. And he did that on heart and effort. I think he makes 12 runs. We dominated possession. Our attack wasn't very good that day at all, but we got the job done. Our defense was great that day.
I think Curran scored that first try in the right side when he dived on that loose ball.
Just a loose ball.
It wasn't a pretty game. Wasn't a pretty game, no.
No.
Good night, Scary. Up the doggies.
Night, brother.
Yeah, we just answered that question, James.
It's round 3, brother.
We've already answered that, mate. Go back to the start and have a look. Good night, Scary, again from Timmy.
Critter's a great player. He's just floating around. Sometimes Kikau and Burton swap sides, brother. They're just trying to win a game of footy. Chill.
Harry's got some comments about Finau. When he came on, we scored 3 tries on the trot. There you go, aggression. Put the comments up, bro. Were you guys positive in 2023 to 2008?
Yep. I was positive all season, mate. But look, we had some fun. We put Tavita, what was his name? Tavita. The dog, I put him into my little hole. So as the dog farter, you know, I get some of my goons to go down there and put him in the hole for a week and keep him in the dark and don't feed him and then release him on a team. It worked a couple of times, but yeah, we had to get rid of him.
We had to be creative, Harry. It wasn't easy, mate. You have to look. We looked at the big picture. You looked at what happened with, because don't forget, from 2008, we still made 2 grand finals, 2012 and 14. So it was probably more from 15, 16, when, Hazlitt completely ruined us with all the salary cap and everything and back-ended this deal and Bid did all that. And we had to get out of that. We knew it was going to be a lot of pain before we had some gain. It was hard work.
It was a tough year. You've got buddy Khaled Rajab's dad carrying on because Carla Lawapu signed. You got, we're about to sign Khaled. They're carrying on like they want more. Then we go and get Toby Sexton and tell him to piss off. Then we let him play, the poor kid. He misses 4 tackles and he's hooked and never plays first grade again. It was a tough year. We had Raymond Fatala Marino, who's just a real joker and a guy who was one of the focal points of our attack. We had him be the leader and people came to him. His idea of being a leader and a cultural leader was to represent those blokes, I guess, in what they were saying. And it caused a bit of a shit fight. They had to bring new standards and they had to work out the guys that could go in and it could come out. It wasn't because fucking Serrato couldn't coach. It's because he was bringing in a system that people weren't prepared to believe in. Once Critter come along and showed them how it works, and we've had the Fox and all that talk about this. Reed's talked about it. They got some belief. Even in those 2 losses against Parramatta and the Sharks to start the season in 2024, they defended their line for 5 sets a couple of times in that game. They had like 29% possession with 10 minutes to go. Unheard of stats. And they only got 4 tries put on them. Now, that brought belief. But they had to start getting some wins, and they did. You can't keep doing that and losing because eventually you just run out of puff. So luckily the tide turned and it starts, but 1 loss and people are carrying on like Serrato's full of shit. Look, personally, I sat there and I'm like, just let Burton be a 6, right? I've been saying all the time, but that's just my thoughts. It doesn't mean it's right. I'm not at training. Unless you're at training, unless you know what's going through the place and what they're doing, really, have your fun writing your team lists and your perfect sides. But outside of that, chill, bro. Chill. Let's talk about Kikau, shall we?
3 more. Finish those last couple, mate.
All right. Yeah, it'll look different, mate. I think for now, Latu will be a guy that's like our number 17, or 16 even. And I'll talk about something that I would like to potentially see change after that round 10. Is Brighton injured, not named in his squad the last 2 weeks? I'm pretty sure he was in Ron Massey, so might need to look at that. If we've got a team list for Ron Massey. I'm not going to show it. Oh, no, they're not playing this week. They return Saturday, April 11th. So he might be injured, or they might give him I think he had blonde hair the other day. He might, kids are turning up late for training. There's all shit happening. Life happens. Kids react, and lots of stuff. So Lucas, $8, Scary 10, Mike 10, and Brian played 8. Did James say anything? I hope you've been watching, James. Can't wait to see you at the Queensland games. But I want to talk about Kikau now. Yeah, he's great. He's great, Heinzie. Viliami Kikau. Let's get him up here on the screen, shall we? Let's get him up on the screen. Now, I think a few people talked about Viliami Kikau. Let's clip this. Viliami Kikau has been playing on the edge for many years. He's one of the hardest working. Hey?
Sorry, no, you're right. Harry Hayes' face is in. It's all gone.
Oh, that you and me are a bit the same when it doesn't line up. So I'm just going to get his face up, guys. Sorry, it won't be a sec. There he is. Where is he? Oh, he's not coming up. That'd be typical.
Go up on the stat above. Would it come up on the other one?
No, it won't. I'll have to bring it up this way. Sorry, guys. I have to do it this way. Big Bill Kikau. Great viewing right now. Sorry, peeps. There he is. Now we're cranking. All right. Well, let's clip this. This fella's 180 games. Seems like he's been around forever. He scored 50 tries, right? He's had 2 line breaks this season already, 11 offloads, tackling at 84%, all pressure on an edge, 147 running meters. And across his career, what's that equate to? What's the average? As a Bulldog, he's averaged 101. As a Panther, he's averaged 107. He's got more this year, way above his average in the first few games. Okay. Bill Kikau is one of the most dedicated, hardworking players in our team. He just applies pressure. He tries his heart out. Now, sometimes it's rocks and diamonds because he sometimes he just rushes out. I'd say Serrato calls that a soft option when a player just rushes out without his mates and leaves holes. Sometimes when he makes a tackle, he gets stranded and finds it hard to make multiple. What I want to talk about is I think at some point the Kikau could serve us aggressively off the bench in the middle. Now, the pros of that is obvious that with the ball, to run it into the teeth against some of the biggest boys in the game, to get offload, second phase, to get involved with some blokes in the middle of the field and just belt some big blokes and get everything happening, not just terrorising the little blokes, but some of the bigger blokes as well. I think Satili Tupanua is a naturally gifted right edge edge player as well. I think he's obviously a little bit shorter. I know, a bit shorter, and obviously weighs a lot less. But he hits hard and he's damaging. And he, as Harry would suggest, he's one of the best line runners in the game. He's a great line runner. I think him 80 minutes, or just the fact that you could interchange those blokes on the edge if you wanted to, and do that sort of stuff if you needed to. I don't think they will do it because I think Satili's been practicing as a middle and nothing sort of else. I think they've got Curran there, who's the interchangeable guy at the moment. Harry Hayes, the same sort of thing potentially. But the fact they can play multiple positions, it would be good to actually get some of these old edge back rowers back on an edge as we get these more aggressive players through the middle. I just think that with the ball point of view, I think Viliami could be a real asset off the bench coming in and cracking blokes through the middle. He's fast as well, which really helps. He's got the line speed. I guess the cons against it, though, is it's different lateral movement through the middle. It's back-to-back efforts through the middle that for a big guy like him, combining with the other players, the way they bind together and get it done in the middle rather than coming sort of from the edge. But you see our edge players come in closer all the time anyway. So I think he could overcome that. I think getting Satili out on the right, Jacob Preston on his preferred left, where he goes good, still makes us a real force in attack. Probably, I think it'll change nothing with the line speed and all the effort areas that they do. And I still think there's plenty of points in both those players playing edge work. And I think that sort of does also open up the pathway a little bit for Logan Spinks as sort of a next man up to come through on that edge, considering he's going to be in the top 30 next year. And now the captain of the New South Wales Cup team, Gas said that a couple of weeks ago, and I sort of questioned it. I was wrong. He's definitely been the New South Wales Cup captain. I just didn't realize. I thought it was that by Hotboy because he captained the trial or something. But anyway, that's my thoughts. I'm not telling Serrato what to friggin' do. That's for sure. That's just something that I was thinking might work down the line, and maybe something they try. They may not go anywhere near that, but I just think that sometimes looking at the Marnie thing as well, guys that are really trying hard to lead sometimes are causing us little issues in other areas as well. And Kikau's literally in my top 5 favourite players, and obviously a lovely person and one of our best players in our team. I just think that as he getting older and stuff, that does happen. A lot of edge players do make that move into the middle. Tyson Frizzell was a Origin edge back rower. He's now playing off the bench in the middle, sometimes starts when needed, much more effective when comes off the bench, I believe. And he was great against us.
Jason Tamalalo,
another one, who's more of a lock though. But, Gus loves his big boys on the edges. But I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts about that. Those watching it delayed, put it in the comments. Be respectful, of course, because I definitely am. I'm not trying to say he's not doing a good job on that edge. I just think that we've got some pretty good edge back rowers in the side, and I think Kikau being our biggest player, he may not just be suited to that at all. They might just know within the group that would weaken our side somehow, and it's just not an option. But me not being an expert, just pretending I am half the time. I just thinking that might be something that they might look at down the track. What's your thoughts, Gas?
Look, mate, it's there's definitely some players that, as he gets a bit older now, he might not be able to keep up what he's doing now. Like you said, this year, if you had a look, he's averaging 147 meters this year so far. So he has had a lift up. You can see there from what he's done in the last few years. That's his best season so far after 3 games. But as he's getting older, it's going to depend on what he can handle, how much. Because at the moment, he's probably for me, he's like a 60% player that focuses on his defense and 40% on his attack. The way that he plays, he's got more of a tendency to be, putting more effort into defense, which is great, which is, you want to see. But imagine the impact with his size if he was able to just have another 2 or 3 steps back before he gets the ball winding up, coming into the line, and then saying, stop me if you can. That would be something that he wouldn't be able to do if he was playing 80 minutes in a game. And this is why he controls his aggression and controls his game at the moment. And I think if he needs to be doing something like that, then maybe he needs to be potentially playing lesser minutes. Looking at our depth and looking at the players that we've got coming through, yes, we've got a lot of players that could fill that role that he's currently doing over the next few years. So what you're saying, by the time that happens, it could be an option if he's able to sort of transition into that role. Because what he's doing now is what he knows. It's a whole new change at this late in his career. He may feel like, another team or Papua New Guinea, whatever it might be, or Perth or something might be a better option for him to just go there, take all that money and whatever, which is, you can never begrudge a guy like that. He's done an amazing service to us and to the Panthers. So yeah, but it definitely is an option, but it depends on how his body starts to handle the 80 minutes. Because at the moment, for his size, to do 80 minutes is amazing. There's been other players as big as him, like Tony Williams, all these guys that were big size, the Fafita's of the world now, and that try to do what he's doing. It's not always the easiest thing to do, and to keep that level up the whole time, which is why sometimes in a really fatiguing game, there will be a few mistakes that come out from him, etc. So, but, imagine him as a front rower with the offload ability to be damaging and to come on in short bursts. He might unleash some attacking plays that we haven't seen because he's able to just do 20, 25 minutes and then come off. Yeah. That could be something that we might get the benefit of. And defensively, we know he's strong as well. So it's just learning that system in the middle as well. So, but definitely an option, but I don't think it's ready for that yet, because I don't think we've got the right player that's ready to go right now if he was to go down potentially. Maybe, but not right now.
So just Lionel Woods, he's turned into a big stalker. Obviously hurt his ego. He's trying to post on all things Bulldogs and Facebook. He's losing his mind. Yeah. So this is the stuff we have to cop as well. Literally people getting in behind and stalking you and doing all this sort of shit. Like, it can get scary at times. Well, it doesn't scare me because 99.9% of people are full of shit. But, this is one of the downsides. I get called obsessed because I tell people I don't like them putting shit on my club or on players themselves. Then we get people who are literally trying to follow you everywhere and fucking carry on like absolute nincompoops. Anyway, I'll decline his post because no one needs to see that. But anyway, we'll probably get him requesting everywhere. And luckily I'm on a lot of groups, guys, so I just get to block these people everywhere because they don't have anything nice to say. That's what I mean. These are the types of people that when we win games, they say nothing at all. They don't say a boo. They just wait till we lose and they're straight in, bang, 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 bang. Anyway.
Mate, I think, look at this, mate. Akram's giving us the call, mate. Come on, mate. He's falling asleep. Been on for 2.5 hours. Come on, mate. Come on. Sorry, Aki.
It's all right,
You've probably
brother.
got school tomorrow, mate. Come on, mate. Go to sleep, buddy. Brighton's gone back to Queensland.
Oh, he might have been homesick. That happens too. I know that what's his name? Oliver Smith.
Oliver Smith, yeah.
Yeah, he went back. He did a runner. He just something wrong in his head. Went back to Queensland. The club, been really supportive of him.
Might be a question for Gus. Might be a question for Gus, mate. About
hopes
David.
to get him back one day. Hopes to get him back one day. Well, that's what Gus has said.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Can't find the All Things Bulldogs group on Facebook. You should be able to, mate. How do I share it?
And while you're doing that, Heinz was saying they should bring AJ into the team, having come off the bench for Kikau. AJ Jones, basically a younger version of. Look, he's obviously had the 2-week suspension, but he's the future of the club. He's a weapon.
He's not fit right now. He's not fit.
Yeah.
Not fit for NRL. When he is, he'll be back.
And yes, Michael spoke about Patrick Young as well recently, and also one of his games the last 2 weeks was an outstanding game. So yes, he is very crafty, Michael Gamer.
If you copy that link, I don't know if you can copy that link, Heinzie, but if you type that into somewhere, it should give you on Facebook. It should take you to All Things Bulldogs. And all members, actually, I have actually created a group called Dogfather Media, members only or something. It's a private group, invite only. If people do message me or add me as a friend, I'll be able to send you the invite to that group as part of being a member, where you can provide us with ideas and whatever else. So there you go. I think that's enough, people. I think we've got.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, look, the draw.
Are we up to it yet? Are we ready?
So Timmy, if you didn't know, we had to take it up to 100 because we're giving a $40 team store voucher. We'll only get about $58. We'll get about $58 back if we're lucky with the exchange rate and everything and fees. So that enables us to cover all costs and whatever. So we've got 8, 28, 36. And what do we have last? So we're up to 76. So we're $24 off. So sorry, Timmy.
Not far away, Timmy. Not far away, mate.
I know we're close, but you're in the draw. That's all. You're already in it, matey. You're already in it.
Maybe when we review the beautiful victory over the Rabbitohs during Easter, guys, we can knock off that remaining amount and then do the prize draw, guys.
Yeah.
So Michael will set it up and create it in advance and have it ready, and whoever jumps in late can add them to that draw.
Beautiful. Sorry,
all
guys.
right, everyone. It's getting pretty late, guys. Thank you all. Get some sleep, Aki, everyone else. Send us a message, mate.
You might have said something. You might have said something nasty and got blocked from there one day or something. That can happen. We're pretty frail.
Hey, there you go, mate.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do it now. I'm gonna have
That's
to do
it. Set it up, mate. Set it up.
Thank you, Ryan.
Zereg is in the house.
Oh, I can't even remember from the other one. What's it called again? Random. I'm so tired. I've had 4 hours sleep in the last 2 days. And I'm going to go and do my last 5K walk after this, peeps. For those who want to play at home. Keep talking to them so I can focus on what I'm doing there, Gas. What's coming up?
Yes. So, guys, it's Friday. It's going to be, get there early, guys. If you're not going to the Easter show, if you're coming to the game, get there early. It's going to be a big crowd. We're kind of hoping at the moment for at least 50,000. I know this year it's a Rabbitohs home game, but anyone who's a member does get reciprocal rights. But it will be a big sort of event happening out there. So get yourselves early, get your public transports or whatever else you do. Get behind the team, guys. It's going to be good weather out there on the Friday. So let's have a look at Sydney weather on the Friday. I don't think we're going to get any rain during the game. No, nothing during the game, guys. Nice and warm weather. 22, 23, 25 degrees. So get yourself some suntan and get out to the game. It'll be a good game. 4 o'clock. Heinzie, what do you got there, mate? Even though it's a South home game, I'm sure we can still outnumber. Yeah, look, obviously they're a little bit further away for them, where we're more in the area. But definitely over the last few years, we've definitely outnumbered their supporters. So yeah, I think we can fill up a lot of blue and white everywhere, guys, to counter that green and the myrtle green and red. So it'll be good. It's exciting times, guys. Exciting times. There's a few big games lined up for the next few weeks. So get through the Rabbitohs in a good game. Then we've got Thursday night against the Panthers. That will be an exciting game as well. So yeah, mate. Might be whacking the little white ball around the golf course first. Who knows? But after that, definitely be ready for the Doggies game. So exciting stuff, guys. But anyone who's talking to anyone who's on the negative side, guys, just tell them to pull their head in. It's a long season. Everybody has good games. Everybody has bad games. There's no need for us to overreact. Trust the system, trust the coaching staff. They know what they're doing. They've got us this far the last 2 years, so we've got no reason to doubt them. Everybody just thinks that they can fix the problem, but there's a lot more things that they don't know behind the scenes with the coaching staff and the players know, and that's what we trust. So that's why on these podcasts, we try to give you a 360 view of everything that we know and that what we can see and things that, we can share, some things we can't, but we're trying to give you everything that allows you to get a vision into what could or couldn't be happening. So you've got better understanding of which way we're going. So it's not always easy to watch a loss, but, you got to put it away. So, it was hard the other day. But, you just got to, what do they say, compartmentalize it, put it in segments and everything. But, it was good. Yes.
Not long, guys. Not long. I'm nearly there.
So while Michael's setting all up, guys, it's when's our next home game? So I think the next home game was against. Well, we had is a few weeks away for that. So they stuck it up on the screen the other day. Next home game. So 20,000 this week.
Oh, here we go, guys. Gonna add this up.
Bulldogs and Panthers. There you go, guys. Thursday night. Next home game.
All right.
Oh, spin the wheel. So how many different combinations we got, mate?
Well, I've given people double entries and stuff. Especially if they're members and they went on to Buy Me a Coffee.
Yep.
So we had Tommy join up on Buy Me a Coffee. Mike from Champion Industries has joined up there as well. So we got the Ryan, we got Lucas, Timmy a couple of times because he had a donation on there. Brian a couple of times there. Lucas and Ryan Drake. Let's do it, eh?
Let's go. Let's go.
Clicking the wrong thing.
Let's go. The winner is Bulldog Mike. Hey. Woo!
Well done, Mike. $40 team store voucher coming your way, brother. If you're in Sydney, I don't know if I've got I can't even remember. I think Mike's won something before, hasn't he? Pretty sure.
I think so. I think he might have a flag, maybe.
Yeah, so let us know, Bulldog. I'll have a look through. I know I've got you on a different name on Instagram and stuff. It's going to have to get better at how I'm going to have to record keep with a spreadsheet and stuff, which I've sort of half did for the big one. So I'll make sure I get on top of that. But well done, guys. Big thank you to everyone. We got to the $100 and a $40 vouchers going out. Proudly sponsored by Dave. Dave's been continuing to raise money for the show, so we can provide prizes and stuff, which is a big help. A big thank you to him. So well done, guys. Congrats, Mike.
Guys.
Big thank you to you, Ryan, for that lovely contribution at the end, mate. And as a result, we're going to give you a ticket in the next draw automatically, because that's a selfless sort of thing, so everyone could have a chance. So well done, mate.
Thanks, Rhino.
Big thank you to you. People, that's it. We'll contact Mike, and nothing else to say but go the Dogs.
Go the Doggies.
Check out this beautiful song.
G-Day Doggies fans, welcome to the show.